I was just washing my hands.
Okay.
He's going to the bathroom.
And he's taping you washing your hands?
Well, we got a fan here.
What's going on?
Actually, we thought that you were coming here. How are you doing?
Not bad. I'm fine.
Not bad. You're good.
Yeah, my head hurts a little bit. I'm fine.
So I just want to know what the, I guess the situation. Like I said, we kind of knew where you were headed. What's going to be the situation with Low Life Louie tonight?
What situation? There was no situation.
So you're not scared then about anything that he might do, or you know he's going to be in the building tonight?
I'm scared of what Louie's going to do? Excuse me for a minute.
I know there's a bathroom.
Listen, I know this is rated PG. Scared of Louie? Shut up. Okay. Shut up. Scared of Louie? Scared of Louie? Let me show you something. See this over here? See that? Oh, Jesus. You see this? That's a broken hip, broken pelvis, and dislocated hip 8 years ago, courtesy of a car accident in Forest Park. Okay? Scared of Low Life Louie? See this? This is another car accident. Shattered both sides of my ankle, got permanent damage on my leg. Not even supposed to walk right now. Okay? Even this. Fell off my bicycle 8 years old. Now I'm going to be afraid of Low Life Louie Ramos? Fucking joke. Jesus. By the way, next time you do a promo in here, please spray something with air freshener that smells like something fucking died in there. Don't step on my glasses. Not good.
This is a bathroom. I guess he's not scared.
Every Thursday night, you ask the questions, DT gives you his answers. No holds barred.
It's Q&A with Don Tony. This is your chance to speak your mind and be heard about anything.
Q&A with Don Tony. And now, your host, Don Tony. Don Tony. Don Tony. Don Tony.
Yes, I'm having coffee this late at night. Look at my glasses. Steaming up. Did not sleep last night. Migraine headache screwed that up. We had a great show though. That was weird yesterday, man. 2 hours. Felt like 30 minutes. I was blown away how long we went yesterday. Also, I want to apologize. The Melissa Coates passing broke while we were doing the show. And, can't criticize anybody for it. But as it's going on, this person's saying that she was married to Bobby Lashley. This one is saying that she was Raisha Saeed. And this one's saying this. And I'm like, Rest in peace, Melissa Coates. Now, even though some people kind of scrambled everybody's eggs last night talking about things, I talked about a picture or two that I'll always remember her by. And it was a bikini on the beach, another one, sunset, arms in the air. Some of you out there wanted to see the pictures that I was talking about. Or was I just blowing smoke up everybody's ass last night? There is one. There is the other. That's how I will always remember Melissa Coates. A few people sent me DMs and say, wait a minute, Don Tony, you met her a couple of times. Big event. 2 other autograph signs with Sabu, Super Genie. How come you didn't talk about that yesterday? It's not about me. She passed. I wasn't friendly with her. I met her a couple of times. Very, very nice. Everybody that knew her thought she was a sweetheart. Nothing to say. It's about her. So, welcome, everyone. It's Thursday night. I always got to look at the clock to double check. I got to put a big clock, right? Actually, right above me, I got to put a little one you could tape to the wall. June 24th, 2021, AMA SDT. Going to take some live calls. We're going to do a trivia contest tonight. And I was trying to think of something a little bit different. Then I thought, wait a minute. Money in the Bank is coming up. And I got a couple of Money in the Bank briefcases. That's one, sealed, never opened. It has like combination locks and everything. I don't want to take it out of the box right now. I'll obviously have to do that for a reason. So someone tonight is going to win this Money in the Bank briefcase. It is straight from WWE. Well, straight from me, which was originally from WWE. But also inside the briefcase will be a bunch of goodies. Now, if you go on eBay right now, the blue briefcase sells for a little over $100. You got a couple of eBay sellers trying to get $175 for it. That's nuts. I like the briefcase, but it's not that nice. We got blue ones. We got gold ones. But we're going to give away the blue one this time. But what will be inside the briefcase? Well, one item that I decided to put in there with the Money in the Bank theme is this. It is unopened, sealed, Money in the Bank trading cards in its own little briefcase from 2019, guaranteed to have at least one autograph inside the briefcase. Maybe you'll get lucky and it's somebody huge. You also get a little bit of DT grub, maybe some breakfast soup grub, Grubhub. So it's going to be a nice prize. It's going to be a nice prize. I'm going to put some stuff in there. I was even thinking about getting like some WWE candy. I actually looked all over the net for a WWE bank. You know, it's Money in the Bank. I figured, okay, let me find I'm not kidding. Let me find a WWE bank and I'll slap a 20 in there. This way, whoever opens the briefcase that wins the prize says, oh, look at this, a WWE bank. Oh my God, there's Money in the Bank. I can't find one. I'm going to go on eBay. Maybe there's some bootleg ones out there. Yeah, VJ, you're right. It's probably going to be a Baron Corbin side card. Look, when I first started here with the video, I was trying to think of some creative things to do. I thought, hey, let's blow up Baron Corbin cards, like Disco Demolition Night. Most people didn't give a shit, so I threw the cards out. Not going to lie. But, so somebody's going to win that tonight. What is the contest going to be? Very simple. Who dat? Who am I? Now, it is not difficult. It is not difficult. I promise you. This is going to be, without question, the easiest contest I've ever done since we've moved to YouTube. There's two people involved. I'm going to read you some facts about a particular wrestler later. And you will let that sink in, and you think you don't put your entries right away. You just think about who it is. Then I do the second person, and if needed, I have a photo of one of the two people that should end the contest like that. And then once I give you the details on both wrestlers, you just type the two wrestlers' names. You got to get both right. And I promise you, both wrestlers have wrestled on television within the last 2 months. You can't get any easier than that. If you've watched wrestling on television, or if you've even paid attention to results, you'll get it. You'll get it. It's going to be very easy, I promise you. So, big shout out to everybody who is live with me tonight. There's our little roll call. So if everyone out there, I know it sounds like a broken record, but we get new people tuning in every single day. The more YouTube, refers our show to others, the more people I'd never heard of yours truly are getting word of the channel. That's why I always say, if you could smash that like button, the more you do that, the more that helps me tremendously. But if you'd like, post where you're tuning in from. Wait a minute, Cruiserweight, you're from Brooklyn? You mean to tell me I got to worry that your ass is going to show up at my fucking job one day? I'm already a little freaked out by you. You're in Brooklyn? I'm only kidding, man. I'm only kidding. Only kidding. Sam was going. So if you'd like to post like your state, country, city, no address, no phone number. So this way everybody tuning in could get an idea of where everybody's joining the show right now from. Big shout out to everybody live. Big shout out to everybody who checks out the show on the archive. I understand, show every day, 2 hours, 3 hours each day. That's asking a lot. I don't even spend that much time with my fiance. For real. My fiance says you spend more time with your internet family than you do with me. It's true. It's true. But we have fun. We have fun. Of course, there's certain departments you can't fulfill my satisfactions, but, you get the deal. By the way, if you see me drinking this, they're not open yet, and you see me drinking water, I don't know, that migraine really knocked me for a loop yesterday. I've been drinking shit all day long. If I don't do a show tomorrow or Saturday or something, then something happened to yours truly. So I'm just warning you now. Oh, by the way, tomorrow night, it's Friday night, SmackDown. Guess what? I kid you not. He's back. Tomorrow night, Deli Man will be in Thunderdome once again. I got an invite to be there at 9 p.m. So this time I go all out. I do this. I have extra lights set up because I'm a little too dark with the other webcam. I don't use my camera because my webcam is a little bit closer. And if they see the logos in the back and this and that, they'll just disconnect me. But I use my other webcam. But tomorrow I'm going to have the paper Deli Man hat on. I'm going to have the salami. And you're going to see me going like this and cheering and going like this and go. I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. I've got invited, I think, 9 times and 3 over the last 10 days. The last time I actually filled out a form to be in Thunderdome, I think it was in, February. So it feels good to get the invite. A little more would be nice. Hey, would you like to be in Thunderdome? I guess they liked Deli Man last week. I honestly thought wearing a Deli Man with the New York thing, with a little bit of logos in the background, something told me that they were going to be like, no. By the way, favorite wrestler of all time. Had to represent him tonight. And if you don't like it, funk you. Not fuck you, but funk you. Oh, thank you, Roger. Little bit of a red color this time. I decided to go red. I don't know if you noticed. See, look, I can do this. Watch. Hopefully I don't screw it up. See, that's too much. That's too little. It's about right. It's about right. That's good enough. Yeah, he went red today. I'm going to hook up another one soon. I'm more concerned about, like a little bit of the logistics, getting some software, getting this program set up so we could take live calls a little bit more organized, and to have a little bit of save contacts. This way when somebody calls in, and I didn't do this on purpose, but when somebody calls in, and the person connects, if it's a recognizable number, it'll immediately do something like this. All right, let's say I'm over here and we're taking a call, and it'll go like this. There you go. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, we'll be doing that very, very soon. So, all right, we got to put this back. Yeah, so Deli Man will be in Thunderdome tomorrow. Now, couple of things right off the bat. First of all, tonight is going to be probably the shortest show that we've done so far. For the simple reason that, there's not a hell of a lot to talk about. Yes, I'm going to take your live calls, no question. But tomorrow night, we have a show right after SmackDown. We'll recap SmackDown, talk about some other news tidbits. Saturday, AEW. I thank you all who participated in the poll. Asked you to vote. What should I do about Saturday? I'll do I'll do something Saturday. I'm not going to see the family until Sunday. So Saturday night, I'll be home. I'll be out till about 7, but I'll be home Saturday night. So the choices were, since Dynamite is on Saturday night, live on TNT from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., do I do a live watch-along from 8 to 10, or instead, wait until Dynamite is over and do a recap from 10 until whatever? And it was almost 50-50. It was like 52 to 48. So I realized that it's almost a toss-up. Darren Gordon-Hill, I got to give him credit, came up with a great idea. He's like, why don't you do the live watch-along? And then when it goes off the air, you just have your overall thoughts. You know, a little post-show, half an hour. Like, that's actually not a bad idea. So Saturday, we do both. If you are bored and you're home, even if you're watching AEW, or even if you're not and you just want to hang out and just bullshit with all of us for a couple of hours, I will be here from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. doing a live watch-along. And then as soon as Dynamite is over, I'll stay for another half an hour and, we'll recap and, bring up what we just saw. So you let things sink in a little bit, we'll do that. So that's the plan for Saturday. Lone Wolf says that I am capping. I don't know what that means. I'm not from the hood. I don't know what that means. Capping, from where I come from, means like you're killing someone. I'm going to cap that motherfucker. What does capping mean? Hopefully it's a good thing. Hopefully it's a good thing. Maybe it means I'm drinking coffee. Now we have a little dilemma with a contest from last week. And you know me, I don't like controversy. I don't like bullshit. I don't like agita. I don't like getting calls at 3 a.m. You got to look online what somebody said about you. Maybe when I'm 30, it's all right. You get a little bit older, it's baby shit. Kappa means lion. King of Games, thank you, King of Games. It means lion. How am I? I don't know how I'm lying, but that's all right. Lion Ted. Anybody remember that? Lion Ted. Check it out. We did the All Elite Feat last week. And, we had a winner. I think it was Joe New that got it right. Well, I get an email from someone who goes by the name Steak and Eggs. Steak and Eggs. I'm sure a lot of you have talked to him on the chat before. And Steak and Eggs says, no, I got it right first. So I said, all right, let me go check it out. Let me go watch the replay from last week with the contest. And he won, but he actually backdoor won. Let me explain what happened. If you remember last week when we were doing All Elite Feat, all right? And by the way, I got photo proof of it. Okay? All right. His entry was actually prior to Joe News. But check it out. Last week, one of the choices was Anthony Bowens. All right. So at this point of the contest, when Steak and Eggs posted that entry, he was wrong. Because I had said, tell me who these All Elite Feet are. When it went another 2-3 minutes and no one had an answer yet, I then changed the contest and said, okay, you could pick either member of the tag team. So Joe New said Anthony Bowens, and I chose him as the winner. So at the time that Steak and Eggs posted his entry, the entry was wrong because Max Caster was not the answer. It was Anthony Bowens. But once I said that you could pick either tag team, well, his entry ended up becoming right. So if you remember last week, I said that I had more than one of these Bray Wyatt boxes. So they're both getting it. Right? I think easy enough. What this tells me going forward with the contest is don't change or don't make the answers bigger, because then you run into a little controversy. But look, he deserves it. He deserves it. So steak and eggs. And I like the name too. Lee and a few. Steak and eggs. I'm actually thinking I'm going to have some steak and eggs Saturday morning. You know, the diners buy me a low budget shit, but a little piece of steak with some eggs, especially I'm on keto. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Lee. I'm just trying to give back. You know, there's a lot of people out there that just take and take and take and take and take. I try to give back a little bit. It's also a tax write-off, you know, if you do it the right way. So get the best of both worlds. So let me put the chat room back up here. What's on your mind, everybody? What's on your mind? I want to know what you're thinking. Yeah, there are some places you can't hide. You know who we're talking about. Crazy Cruiserweight. Which person would I have rather met in person? Ben Franklin, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, or Theodore Roosevelt? Probably Benjamin Franklin, honestly. Abraham Lincoln, he had some guy by the name of Booth stalking him. So I don't want to be anywhere near that guy. George Washington, I'd probably just stare at that forehead that he had. Even if he offered me cherries from the cherry tree, I don't think I was interested. Teddy Roosevelt, I don't know, you know, just never intrigued me to want to meet him. So I think Benjamin Franklin. I would just love to have learned some of his tips and tricks to inventions and stuff like that. Would have loved it. Would have been great to hang out with him. You know, he had the key with the kite, and it would have been like a bad cartoon. He would have been like, oh, we got to test this electricity. And I would say, Ma, come here, hold this. Seriously. Or no, we're not going there. There's a lot of people who would have had held the kite. It would have been pretty funny. So, Twix is asking, what's up with Discord? Is it going away? I have no idea. I will tell you that a couple of days ago, this is for everybody who's a channel member, and for some of you who are not channel members, I will send invites to also. I set up a Discord channel, a channel on our Discord page, the existing one. And this channel is going to be just for friends and family here on YouTube. Because a lot of you love to chat with each other during these shows. But what happens when the shows are over? You have no place. I'm sure there's other places you could go chat. But as far as these shows go, you have no place to hang out and chat. And unfortunately, you know, and hey, I call it like it is. The Discord channel that I had originally set up with Mish is the one that really set it up, let's be honest. But the channel was his and I. You know, to me, honestly, a lot of it has gone to garbage. There's about 15 people on there, and a lot of them are cool. Don't get me wrong. There's about 15 to 20 people on there that just take over the board. And what happens is somebody pops up there, and some of you who are tuning in right now know exactly what I'm talking about. It happened in the last day or two. You go on there, you post a little comment like, hey, you know, this is and that, shouting out someone, and next thing you know, these 4 or 5 people just post. And just, you know, and then, you know, as a courtesy, posting alerts for my YouTube shows pop up there, and a couple of them, you know, on the page, including 2 podcasters, which we will not name, they thought they get giggles, shits and giggles by running here and hitting dislike. I'm like, fuck you. Seriously, fuck them. Fuck them. I stopped doing game night there. I stopped doing all this stuff. Not everybody is bad. There's a bunch of people there that are really, really good. But for some reason, you know, this climate of, you know, shitting on everything and crapping on this and, you know, all outrageous language and stuff. I'm not PC. You know, I've mellowed out a little bit without a doubt, but the atmosphere there sucks. So I made a separate channel for all of us. I just have to iron out a few things. I have to link it with YouTube, and then there's ways of adding permissions. So when you sign up, you're immediately in that room. And the best part of it all, I made the settings that for all those assholes that like to play games, they could see the channel. But it's almost like the bakery. Like they're walking by and they smell the bread and they smell the cake and the donuts and they want to open the door to buy one. Or if we really want to troll them, we put a big plate on the counter that says free samples. And then when they go to open the door, the fucking thing is locked. Hello, can you open the door? Some real toxic people, man. When shit started coming out 2 years ago, a couple of backstabbers, and I saw a group of people that were more angry about people revealing the shit instead of being mad at the shit, that's when you realize, okay, stay clear away from some people. You know, misery loves company. Not me. Not anymore. 2 cancer scares. My father got a slip from here to his belly button. My mother pronounced dead 3 years ago. And I'm going to give a shit about, you know, like DMs and podcasters and dislikes and this and that. Please. Sooner or later, they melt. 19 months we had COVID. And for 19 months, you had a whole bunch of people out there that sat home and said, I can't work. I can't work. I'm going crazy here. 19 months, I can't work. Oh, I could pump gas. I could work in a bodega. I could sell donuts. Time to make the donuts. I could, you know, I could shovel snow. But no, I can't work. I worked 4 fucking jobs. I was able to, you know, pay off a lot of bills, trying to prepare my wedding, you know, and I'm watching people out there just totally destroying themselves. And what they're realizing now is that no matter how chummy they are on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Discord or anything, those people ain't paying their bills. So it is what it is. I love hanging out here with all of you. Obviously, Thursday night, a little more down to earth, real combo. It is what it is. But I don't let it get to me. I like rubbing it in. Don't get me wrong. It is kind of fun to rub the shit in, you know, to separate it. But, you know, I always say success is the biggest revenge you could give to haters out there. And doesn't sweat me anymore. Roger Rubio. Yes, thank you again, my friend. Yeah, I thought the red would look good with the purple overlay. I thought that would actually look good, so thank you for that. I appreciate that. Also, do I think Stella is a good name for his new Husky Corgi mix? Ah, pretty cool. Stella. I like it. I like it. Seriously, you know, usually when it comes to pets, and I think some of you out there will agree with me on this, when it comes to pets, usually the first name, the first instinct of a name you come up with is usually the best one. You know, my dog, I know some of you have seen pictures of him. I had to put him down. Now it's several years ago. And I'm still devastated by it. But when I first got him, we went to pet store and there was this whole, I mean, now it's kind of like cloudy because this was 1990. 1998, 1999, around that time. I still have the original papers too. But we went to this pet store and there was like a whole litter of miniature Dobermans, toy Dobermans, miniature pinchers. And, you know, all cute and everything. And there was one that, you know, was just on the side and wagging tail mile a minute. And, you know, just, I connected immediately, bonded like this. Took him home. He had mange. I think that's what it's called, mange. He was sick. And he got very, very skinny almost immediately. And I brought him to a vet. And I remember saying to the vet, I said, he's skinny like a peanut. And that's the name I gave him. So that's how I got that dog. But, no, I like Stella. Yes, I agree with you, Nick. I immediately thought of the beer. I don't drink beer. My fiance, I think Stella is her favorite beer. But I absolutely love it. I love the name. I love the name. You know, the fact that you came up with that name, I don't think there's any question. I don't think there's any question. You know, keep it. Keep it. I would keep it. Definitely keep it. James Campbell, oh, you're hell in a cell price. Absolutely, man. By the way, for my Patreon family, over the weekend, I will finish the tallying up. I already know who won, but I want to double check the entries again because there are quite a few more on Patreon. So by Monday, we should have announced, maybe even Sunday. That's possible. James, how you claim yours? Very simple. If you're on Twitter, you could DM me. My DM's open. If you want to email me, dontony@dontony.com. And that's it. Just let me know, you know, how I could send it to you. If you have PayPal, you know, PayPal it to you. You want a Amazon e-gift card, I'll give you Amazon e-gift card. If you want, whatever, that's all. Just probably the two easiest ways, DM. And look, now once this Discord channel launches for our YouTube family, you'll be able to message me on Discord. Easy. So that's the best way. And look, if either one of those are a problem, let me know. We'll figure out another way. We'll figure out something else. So, but yeah, that's how you would get it. And I promise you, I'm going to add $2 to it because there's no reason why you have to super chat me to claim a prize. So when I give it to you, there'll be an extra $2 attached to it, for real. AS7607, happy birthday again. I hope it was great. The weekend's coming up. Extend it. Enjoy the whole weekend. Seriously. I think you said 39, right? 39, I think it was. My memory's not too bad. She wanted to tell me that she got to hear the Benoit episode from 14 years ago. Still has an effect to this day. I tell you, I left that episode online. All the other DTKC episodes are offline. There's like 3.5 years worth that are still on Patreon because it's on Patreon server. For people that asked, why is it offline? I'll tell you the straight, honest truth. It's not because of shit that was said about me, you know, and, you know, it wasn't about that. I mean, obviously, things changed because of that, but the fact of the matter is once that ended, the demand for those episodes was less. Makes sense. And, you know, I don't say this for anybody to kiss ass or anything like that, but it's just a fact. Even though I kind of disagree with some podcasters out there, I don't think people understand how much money a lot of these podcasters dip out of their own plastic credit cards, savings, you know, for the love of it. You know, as years go by, you know, then you get a big following, you know, you start getting a little bit of return. But, you know, for 20 years, everything that was featured all came out of my pocket. We didn't have Patreon beyond 4 years ago, around 4 years ago. You know, we tried the GoFundMe once and it failed miserably. So the thing is that the amount of money to this day to have the server, to have the website, to have bandwidth, to stream live and all the stuff that I was doing before, that was all coming out of my pocket. It's not Mish's responsibility, but, you know, am I going to go back to everybody and say, hey, you know, we got to split 1/3 evenly all these expenses? You know, the website alone that I still have is about $1,600 a year. You know, I still pay for that. But the thing is that to keep all of that on a server, and I'm just dipping out of my own pocket, and I'm podcasting first 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, you know, or whatever it is, 5 to 6. And, you know, I have to dump so much money back into it. I said, no, something's got to give. So, but now for my YouTube channel members out there, I'm going to have it put back on a server. And every month or every 2 weeks, there's going to be a password. And you just type in the password and you have access to all the episodes. And trust me, for anyone out there that says to me, oh, you're going to make everybody fucking pay to get the episodes? No. Because I will post links on our Discord channel just for my YouTube family. Patreon, I will never diss also. Whatever I put over here, I mean, if I put a server, I'm going to make it available for the Patreon family too. But that's the reason why it's offline. The only episode I ever left online was that one. I might have left, I don't think I left the Conan one up there, but I left this one up there. And let me tell you something. I've been doing this since 1997. Next year is going to be 25 years that I'm doing this stuff. That Chris Benoit episode was the most surreal episode I ever did. You know, I've mentioned this before. You ever have times in your life, tragedy. May not be someone you personally knew, but you hear an announcement on the news, something tragic, and you get this real deep chill down your spine, like a legit chill. You just, like, I almost was able to recreate it just now. I think the most recent one was Kobe with the helicopter crash. You know, I know a lot of people that as soon as they heard that news, like, they just stomach dropped and they had that chill. I had that chill, you know, when some people passed: Chris Candido, Pillman, Eddie Guerrero, Owen Hart. You know, I could go on and on and on. I've been doing Monday night shows after Raw since 2001. Wasn't podcast at the time, but I was doing my hotline, and I would with the Blackhearts, and we would do it late at night, usually around midnight, and sometimes we would do it the next day if we were just too tired to do it. But we were on Monday night. So the day before is when we learned of the Benoit murders. Well, we thought it was, you know, they were murdered. And Monday they had Raw. They had that tribute to Chris Benoit. Everybody paid tribute on Raw. Now, my show always started 5 minutes after Raw goes off the air. So the Benoit tribute just happened on Raw. So I go on, you know, with my co-hosts at the time, we all go on, and we open up the show paying tribute to Chris Benoit. Paying tribute, thinking that him and his family were murdered. I don't remember exactly what timestamp it was during the show, but as we're doing the show, I'm looking at news wires online. Now, you got to keep in mind, this is 14 years ago. You know, social media was different. Internet was a lot different. You know, that instant news was not as easy to get at that time. And then, you know, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that Wikipedia controversy that something was posted about Nancy Benoit being dead before she was dead and all that stuff. That was bullshit. That was an IP address from a college. I'm sure you've heard of that one. But trust me, that there was nothing posted before they died, you know, before everything that happened. I remember people accusing Kevin Sullivan, and I tell you, you know, all right, maybe some people thought it was funny at the time. You imagine how Kevin Sullivan felt? You know, even though smart people realized he had nothing to do with it. Imagine being married to someone. I'm sure there was still a little bit of love for her. You know, you break up with someone, you know, it might be a bitter breakup, but there might still be some fondness. I'm sure there aren't many people that you out there have broken up with that if you found out they were murdered, I don't think you would be home by yourself going, good, aha, karma, bitch, or whatever. You know, you can say bitch towards a guy too, right? I guess. You know, I don't think there's many people that would do that. But imagine how this guy felt going through life, and, you know, all it's written everywhere is that, you know, investigate him, do this, and that. And most of it was jokes. I'm sorry. I don't want to be the brunt of people's jokes that I murdered a bunch of people. So, anyway, long story short, sometime through the episode, now it's starting to come out that he killed his family and killed himself. And we started the show paying tribute to Chris Benoit. About 4 hours later, he was spitting on his grave. And he wasn't even buried yet. And we were trying to figure out why this happened. You know, I'll be honest with you. I haven't brought up why, my opinion, as far as why I think it happened, because I just think it is absolutely disrespectful to Nancy's family and for the memory of Nancy. She got murdered. Regardless of what provocation that led up to what happened, she got murdered. And back then, I had come up with some, you could listen to the show and you could hear it. I mean, but at the time, I mean, that's why I said the chills all night long, at least a dozen times. You're starting to like envision in your head, and then you're hearing things about the kid and this and that. And it was the most surreal experience that I ever did on a show. And look, it's weird how many times I've done shows and tragic news breaks while I'm doing shows. And, but that one was just insane. If you haven't tuned into that episode yet, you could go to dontony.com. If you can't find it, just reach out to me. I'll send you the link. And that's it. You could just check out or go Google Minority Report Benoit episode. It's still up there. And if you listen to it, you'll be glued. We had a lot of calls that time. I was taking live calls at that time. Very primitive, but even the live calls, it's weird to go from tributes to hatred towards this guy. That was wild. That was really wild. And I tell you, it feels like it's a long time ago, but it doesn't feel like it was 14 years ago. I mean, 14 years is an awful long time, you know, and it's terrible. It's terrible. You know, I feel bad for the Benoit family also. And I feel bad for all of his friends that loved him and cared about him. And, you know, we've had people, family members, close friends of his, who are convinced steroids and concussions is what led him to do this, you know, and who knows? Who knows? They might be right. But the problem is, at the end of the day, the only people that know is him, his family. I don't know where he is, but his maker knows also. Those are the only people that know, you know. And even if he left notes, you know, if concussions and steroids drive you mad, you don't even know what you're doing. That's why, like I say, you know, with that China documentary, I'm not comparing China to Chris Benoit, but my point is that, you know, I know people who were tremendously addicted to drugs. And trust me, when someone is fiending for drugs and they're chemically dependent on it, that's not the person that you knew or remembered. And that person, 9 times out of 10, is just so desperate to get that hit that they're almost willing to do anything to get it. Doesn't justify bad behavior. It doesn't justify breaking the law. It doesn't justify bad actions. But it is a sickness. It's an addiction. It's an illness. And, you know, you could write whatever you want, but if your mind is mush, you know, the Benoit family want closure. They want to be able to sleep at night. Friends, Jericho, all of them, they want to be able to sleep at night and try to come to a conclusion that, no, man, that's not the guy I knew. Would never do something like that. It's got to be because of this. And I am 100% in agreement with them. It just, I can only imagine how that must feel to have a close family member or friend to do something like that. I mean, it's just, man, it's fucked up. It's really messed up, man. Oh, yeah, no, a lot of deaths in wrestling were tragic. I mean, I still remember the news breaking about Bruiser Brody. Now, look, one thing, we got to make clear. Where I come from in New York, in the 80s, late 80s, we didn't have, like access to a lot of what Brody was doing in other feds. You might get a little bit of AWA, King Kong Brody. You might get a little thing from a magazine here and there, but I could tell you from checking out the magazines, me and my friends were all like, fucking guy's badass. But unfortunately, we never had the exposure to actually watch a lot of what he was doing in real time. So when we heard about the deaths, the death of Bruiser Brody, it was something that, you really like, oh, but there wasn't that intimate connection because we were not, privileged to really see him all that much here in the Northeast. Same thing with the Von Erichs. You could just go down the line. I mean, you could quick draw Rick McGraw, someone that probably almost all of you out there aren't. Herb Abrams. Herb Abrams was wild. Herb Abrams was wild because as soon as he died, almost everybody I knew said, that guy fucking OD'd on cocaine. That guy OD'd. I went to one of his events. I don't remember what year it was. But I went to one of his events. I remember Dr. Det Steve Williams was the main event. And when you go in the building at the time, you'd be able to buy like some black and white photos. Some wrestlers had like almost like magazine. You ever rip a page out of a magazine, how thin it is? It's almost like tissue paper. Like they had magazines. Yeah, they just sign in. Just try to make any money they can. And I'll never forget, Herb Abrams walked in. I don't remember who he said hello to. Wasn't anybody. None of us knew anybody there. We were pretty much, 20s? Late teens, 20s? Herb Abrams walked up to someone and gave him a hug and had like a little, looked like maybe plastic wrap, saran wrap. And you saw like all different colored pills in there. Hey, how you doing? Hug. Put the pills in his hand. So that was pretty wild too. But Herb Abrams, I remember a couple of my friends saying like, man, if I'm going to go, if I'm getting laid, doing a whole bunch of drugs and I'm I'm having a great time, so be it, man. But still, you get older now. No, thank you. No, thank you. What did Courtney say? Courtney, what's up, Courtney? China documentary just ripped the Band-Aid off of that wound. I only watched a third of it. I had to read transcripts from other people. I watched a third of it. And, as I said the other day, it's no secret. I've talked to family members and friends of China over the last couple of years. And, one person in particular giving me all the lowdown as far as all the shit that this guy Anthony was doing and what he did afterwards. And, and I talked about it on the shows. I mean, if you Google my old shows and just type in the word China, and you'll see synopsises over and over and over about Anthony. And there was points where I was afraid that I was going to get sued because I said some horrendous stuff about this guy, and you always were worried like, oh, he's going to sue you. You can't say that. But I started watching that and I'm like, nah, man, nah. It's just, didn't want to see it. And I tell you, you look at women in wrestling, larger than life bodybuilders, and we got 3 at least now who have passed away way too early. China, Nicole Bass, and Melissa Coates. And there's been other women who have passed young who are bodybuilders as well. But, even in the Colbass one, time to open up one of these. I'll mute the thing so you don't have to hear the click. That's one thing. I hate coughing on the show and making noise. I was friends with Nicole Bass. I lived 5 blocks away from Nicole Bass. I know some of you who have been with me for many years know a lot of these stories already. I'm sorry for rehashing it. But growing up in Middle Village, Queens by Juniper Park, all those stories used to tell, Nicole Bass used to live right off 71st Street, Juniper Park. And growing up in the late 80s, every weekend we would just hang out on the corner, blasting the boombox till the wee hours of the morning. And she lived on a corner. And look, if you Google her address, you do a Google map search, you could see what her house looked like. And she would come down once in a while. Can you lower it just a little bit, trying to get some sleep? But always the nicest person. Her husband was a whack job, but we say that as a compliment. The one thing that I always remember about her husband, and I've talked about this before, was going Middle Village, where we lived, to Astoria, Queens, is about, 20-minute drive. If you don't hit traffic, 30 minutes. This guy owned a snake. I don't remember what kind of snake. And one time he said to me, my friend Darren, my friend Joe, and others, "Oh, you want to take a ride with me to his pet store? Got to go pick up some stuff." So we took a ride with him. And the guy drove like a maniac. We went to Astoria, Queens, and he had a snake with him. And he had the snake in like a crate or something. So we walk into the pet store, and he drove all the way to Astoria because they had these exotic mice that he wanted to get for his snake. Now, I've never saw anything live like that in person. This is the 80s. There's no internet. And they feeding the snake, these live mice. I had to walk outside. Couldn't watch that. But the one thing about Nicole Bass that I will always remember, well, 2 things. First off, I don't know if there's pictures online of what the inside of her house looked like, but you have no idea how cool it was. I know a lot of people out there have said some horrible stuff about Nicole Bass and crack jokes. She looks like a man, this and that. But I can't tell you how cool it was to walk into her house, walk up this very narrow stairs, and you go into her apartment on the 2nd floor, and all you saw was pictures of her with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Trophy, 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 plaque, plaque, trophy, trophy, trophy. And it was just surreal to see how many awards that she got as being a bodybuilder. And that's when we first started becoming friendly with her. We were friendly with her for a very long time. And I always bring up this story. A lot of you know who Captain Ivan is. And he still tunes in once in a while. And I told the story that unfortunately he had a stroke about 15 years ago or so. Can't really talk much anymore. Can't do a hotline or anything like that. But at the time he was doing a hotline. That's how I became friendly with Daphne. I did an interview with Daphne in 2002. And this was right before that TNA episode where they did that women's battle royal. I don't remember, it was a lingerie battle royal, whatever. And she wanted to be Daphne. Now, I don't remember the entire story at the time, but I think Jimmy Hart owned the right to the name Daphne, and he would not let her use the name Daphne. So I had gone on my hotline. I'm like, Jimmy Hart, this piece of shit, this and that. And that's why she used Lucy Fur. That's why she used Lucy Fur. Even with XPW, she couldn't use Daphne. She used Lucy Fur as Lucifer, as a female name. So I don't know Daphne yet at the time. We do an interview, 2002, do it for my hotline, plug in XPW. And Captain Ivan is on also. So we did like a joint interview with Daphne. And after we were done, we stood on with her, and she needed promo photos made up. And you know what's funny? I have a box inside. I still have about a stack of autographs that she gave me to give away for people. And there's only so many autographs you could give away for her at the time. But my photographer, the friend of mine who was a photographer, he owned a studio, he made all the promo photos for free. If you ever see the black and white photo where she's holding her hair up in this, or the one where she's looks like she's lifting the car up, I made those photos. She'll tell you. So I'm on the phone with her, and I'm telling her, yeah, I can get photos done, no problem. I said, and I'm good friends with this person. They'll probably do it for free, and this and that. So we had a nice conversation, and Captain Ivan is on with us. So we end the call. She gave me a phone number, and we end the call. Really nice conversation. About 2 days later, I get a phone call, a voicemail from Daphne. Can you please give me a call? I thought it was about the photos. So I call her back and I said, hey, how's it going? What's up? And she's like, can you do me a big favor? I said, sure. Can you tell your friend to stop calling me? And I said, what friend? And she says, that Ivan guy. I said, he's not my friend. I never met him in person. She's like, how do you know him? I said, we all do hotlines. I said, I'm friendly with him to the hotline. I never hung out with him and nothing. She says he keeps calling my house. When she gave me her number so I could call her about the photos, he wrote it down. He called her to thank her for doing the interview. And she didn't want to, say anything to him, but she got freaked out. Like, why is this guy calling my house? At the time, and if you don't believe anything I'm saying, you're more than welcome to ask her. She's still alive. When I tell stories, usually I tell stories about people who are still alive, so at least they could call me out and say he's full of shit. Notice how all the stories come out. Oh, I hung out with this person. I met this person. I did it. When they're dead, what are they going to do? You're going to walk outside, lightning's going to strike you? They have no way. But everybody, I was good friends with the Macho Man. You have no idea. He called me up one time. He heard my hotline one time, and I went, oh, yeah. He's like, that's not how you do it. He's like, oh, yeah. I can go on Twitter and lie through my ass about stuff, about people who are dead. Even like the stuff, when I tell the stories about Chris Candido, God rest his soul. His fucking brother is out there. He's like, yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. So, getting back to Daphne, she was married. A lot of you probably don't even know this. She was married to Rich Ward of Fozzy. Still a member of Fozzy with Chris Jericho. That's why one of their first original music videos, they did a spoof of Soul Train, and Daphne is on the dance floor. That's because her husband is one of the band members of Fozzy. It's true. So she doesn't want Ivan calling her house. He lives with her. So I call Ivan up. He said, Ivan, you got to do me a favor. I said, you can't call Daphne's house. How did you get her number? Oh, I thought she gave the number for both of us. I said, no. She feels a little uncomfortable. Please don't call her house again. What does the guy do? I swear on a stack of Bibles, he fucking called her house to apologize. Listen, I'm sorry. He left her his message. Look, I'm sorry. I'm like, you motherfucker. I swear, I told him, I said, I'm going to crack your fucking head in. I said, don't call her. He never called her ever again. That's how I became friends with her. And then the XPW stuff and everything like that. That's how it happened, because of Ivan. Now, Ivan with Nicole Bass. This is a great story. Ivan is seriously, Nick, if you Google him, I can honestly tell you, he's still with us, thank God. One of the most harmless people out there that I've ever met, as far as he worked for WWF. He was like a coffee gopher for either the Brooklyn Brawler or Harvey Whippleman. When they were in the Garden, Ivan would go to the Garden and actually would work in the back for WWF. But Ivan was one of his, well, I haven't talked to him in 15 years, but was one of the most nicest, genuinely simple people out there. And I don't think he intentionally tried to harass anyone. I think he just felt so guilty because he's not a creep. So he just had to do that. But he ended up freaking her out even more. He went on my bus trips for XPW. Not a bad guy. I threw a chair at him once. We were in front of the ECW arena. Anybody who was on my bus trip, if any of you know Nelson, WTF, ask him. He got me so pissed off at the bus trip. He was in the back of the bus and he started yelling at one of the girls in the back of the bus. And I took a fucking chair and I flung it across the street by the ECW arena. Almost hit him right in the head. I said, I'm gonna leave you in fucking Philly if you bother anybody again. But he's just like a harmless pain in the ass, you know? Nicole Bass. How we got on this, I have no idea. But everybody seems to be loving the stories. So we will share them. Nicole Bass. First time I met her was around 1988. And I was friendly with her up until about, I'd say, 3 years before she passed. And I lost touch with her because my friend Joey that lived right around the corner had married and moved out of Middle Village. My friend Darren, who lived right across the street from her, he moved to Long Island. So all my friends, there was no reason for us to go, around that area anymore. So Nicole Bass, and the reason why I'm saying I met her in 88 and was friendly with her in a couple of years. Now keep in mind, I started Hotline in 1997. Okay? This is right around the time she starts doing a little bit of work in ECW, and she gets job work for WWF. She's doing, I think, Stern at the time, and we're fucking loving it. Like, this is so goddamn cool. We would hang out in front of her house and up in her house countless times. She knew us by first names, just the stories and stories and stories. So we're seeing her on ECW, we're seeing her on WWF TV, and I know a lot of people can't stand her, but we were like, man, this is awesome. Fucking loved it. Thought it was awesome. So now I start doing a wrestling hotline in the summer of 1997. And a lot of people knew that I was friends with Nicole Bass. So Captain Ivan, in 1998, this is 4 years before the Daphne stuff, 1998 says to me, hey, could you do me a favor? I'd love to interview Nicole Bass for my hotline. So I said, yeah, I could ask her, sure. I mean, in 1998, I didn't realize how strange he could come off. So I said to Nicole Bass, I said, look, there's this guy, he wants to interview you. I don't know. I'm still new to the hotline, so I don't know him well at all. I don't know him well at all. So I'm like, look, how can he reach out to you? So she says, have Georgianne Macropolis get in touch with me. Georgianne, you all remember Georgianne. She's the one with that. Her and I did the Conan drive. Loved her to death. Was like an aunt to me. And still, I have the email she sent me about an hour before she passed. That's how sudden it was. We used to play gambling online in the wee hours of the morning. Georgianne was a sweetheart. If you don't know who she is, Google her. And you'll see how many people in wrestling actually adored her. Shawn Michaels adored Georgianne. She was an incredible woman. So I knew Georgianne because when I worked for a deli called Ben's Best in like 1988 or 89, there was a guy that worked there that used to always get front row tickets for Madison Square Garden. If you were part of the inner circle and WWF would have garden shows, you had the opportunity to buy the same seats. That's why if you ever look at the old house shows at the Garden, especially in the late 80s, you see the same people all the time. You see the same people almost sitting the same all the time. So there was one or two times that he couldn't go. And he knew I was a wrestling fan. He's like, Anthony, you want the tickets? I'm like, yeah. So me and my friend would go to the Garden. And Georgianne would sit 2 seats down. So the first time I went there, she looked at me and she said, is that your seat? I don't remember exactly what she said. It was 32 years ago. She's like, is that your seat? I said, yeah. I said, Benjamin, I don't know if you know him, gave me the tickets. Oh, yeah. How do you know him? Oh, I work with him. You work with him? It was a Jewish deli. I'm an Italian guy. I was the only Italian ever to work for Ben's Best. That was not fun. I mean, like I said, I can't compare it to all of you out there who have been profiled, for your sexuality or skin color. But you don't know what it's like as an Italian guy with a little bit of an ego to work in a Jewish deli and have these 5-foot women walk in and say, I'd like to have Sam help me, if you don't mind. And when I first heard it, I'm like, sure. And I figured, okay, she's probably likes the way he cuts her cold cuts and this and that. And Sam pulls me aside. He's like, no, they just don't want you touching their food because you're an Italian. I've said this, and I'm sorry for my Jewish friends tuning in right now, but it's just a fact. We always hear about black and white racism back and forth. More than anything, you always hear black and white. I can tell you in my lifetime, the nationality, the group that would harass me and crack jokes the most, not even close, Jewish. I dated a Jewish girl. A lot of you know that story. It was the infamous football game. It was the Dallas Cowboys. Who was that football player that accidentally kicked the football in the end zone? He went to pick it up. You remember? It was I think it was Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving. We went over to the person's house, and I meet everybody, and it's all Jewish family, and they get the yarmulkes and everything like that. Doesn't bother me. If it bothered me, I wouldn't be dating a Jewish girl. And they're like, oh, sorry, we don't have any of that lasagna. And I'm like, no, it's all right. I don't like lasagna much anyway. Oh, yeah, Anthony, Prince Spaghetti. And every Italian joke that they could possibly, was it Leon Lett? It probably was Leon Lett. If it happened on Thanksgiving, I remember some blunder watching it on the TV. Or maybe I'm mixing the two. It was like ice out or bad weather. But by far, Jewish people had the biggest problem with me more than anybody else. So that's how I met Georgianne, from going to the garden shows. So when I started Dallas versus Miami, okay, that's probably it. It's probably it. So now it's 1997, and I start my own wrestling hotline. Why did I start my own wrestling hotline? Because without that wrestling hotline, I wouldn't be here right now. I had the car accident in 96. I was in a wheelchair for 9 months. I became extremely depressed. And all I did was sit in bed and call wrestling hotlines all day long and buy stuff from QVC and shop at home. And, it wasn't fun. And I was calling wrestling hotlines, and, a lot of them you'd be able to leave messages. And then, I would get a shout out. Oh, thank you for this question. Great question, this and that. And, and then I don't remember which hotline first. They're like, hey, you want to come on as a guest? I guess they felt sorry for me because of what happened to me. So I go on there, got a whole bunch of feedback. And you start hearing people more and more. Why don't you do a hotline? Give it a shot. So that's how I started doing it. So now we go to 1998. And Ivan, who does a wrestling hotline also, and I'm not doing anything with wrestling, as far as promotions or anything. I'm just doing my hotline. I don't even have connections. But I knew Georgianne. She's the only person I knew. Other than people I met at the Ridge Grove Arena, because my uncle worked for WWF in the Ridge Grove Arena. Not directly, but he worked involved with their Brooklyn shows. So I get in touch with Nicole, and I asked her, you would do this interview. I said, you know, he does his own thing, his hotline. He's an all right guy and this and that. And she's like, have Georgianne call me. I said, all right. So I get in touch with Georgianne. Georgianne gets in touch with Nicole Bass. All right, give him my phone number. Fine. So Ivan gives Georgianne his phone number. And Ivan was friendly with Georgianne also. Very good friends with her. Nicole Bass calls her up. And I guess it's like a pre-interview that she's doing. Well, Ivan, being the weird pain in the ass that he could be, she started getting a little bit, like, annoyed at the guy. So Nicole Bass says to him, what magazine is this for? And he's like, this is not a magazine. This is my wrestling hotline. He's like, wrestling hotline? What price am I going to get out of this? She's like, I'm not going to do this. And she hangs up on him. He gets her number off the caller ID and calls her back. Now, I don't know this at the time. He calls her back, and I found this out later on. And she answered the phone, and he's like, oh, no, I have a lot of people. And she's like, look, if you call my house again, I'm going to have my fucking husband shoot you. I'm not kidding. And fucking kill you. So he called her like 3 or 4 times, and she just totally flipped out. So I don't even know this. You know who Ivan is. I prank called Ivan. Remember you heard that prank call? Who's this? Jack Walsh. That's Ivan. I don't know if I have the audio available. If I do, maybe I could play it for you right now. Let's see. Do I have Ivan still in this? I have to label these a lot better. Yeah, I do have it. I'm sorry for the audio quality, but for any of you out there that never heard this before, about 20 years ago, the in thing to do was the soundboards. That was all over the net. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the most famous one. So I decided to do it myself. So I called Ivan's house, and I was doing Robert De Niro sound bites. This is me pressing a soundboard. And if you listen to it closely, because my nickname at the time was Funker. How weird is that? I had no plans on talking about this tonight, and I'm wearing the shirt. My nickname was Funker because Terry Funk's always been my favorite wrestler, and I became friendly with Terry Funk over the years, you know, because of the acts and everything like that. So if you've never heard this, here's a little bonus treat. This is me prank calling Ivan. At the very end, he goes, oh, shit, this is the Funker. And when he says Slash, that is Slash from the XPW stuff. So, here. The audio quality is not that good, but all right, let's give it a shot.
Hello?
Who's this?
Hello, who's this?
Can I ask you something?
Could you hear it? I just want to make sure if you could hear it. Just someone in the chat room, there's like a 5-second delay. Let me know if you heard that okay. Because I wasn't planning on putting audio on tonight. Okay, you could. All right, here you go. Here you go.
Hello?
Who's this?
Hello, who's this?
Can I ask you something?
What?
Have you ever watched pornographic videos?
Who's this?
This is Jack Walsh.
Don't do me a favor, don't call this number no more.
You make one more move on me, you motherfucker. I'll fucking cut your fucking balls off. I'll shove them up your fucking ass. I'll fucking bury you. I'll put fucking ice picks in your eyes. I'll chuck your fucking eyeballs. I'll send them to your fucking family so they can eat it for dessert.
Go ahead.
Cut the crap.
No.
Are you a pothead?
Your mother is.
Have you ever smoked pot?
Piece of shit.
I'm gonna call the cops, pal.
Are you crazy?
Stop your shit.
Now say goodbye, you lying little piece of shit.
What? What are you talking about?
Don't you see what's going on here? Don't you see what's at stake?
What?
I'm trying to tell you that. What do you want? You want the tears to come out of my eyes?
You're a sick person. I don't even know what the fuck you are.
What am I telling you for?
You didn't tell me shit.
If I talk to you and you turn me into a fag, I'm gonna kill you, you understand?
Go ahead. Don't threaten me.
Can I ask you something?
No.
Don't waste my time.
Go ahead, wait.
Liar, whore, and you know it.
Go ahead, you're an asshole.
If I hear any more shit out of you, I'm gonna fucking bust your head.
Go ahead, I'm talking to you, alright? You are a piece of shit. Ha ha ha, your ass. What?
Thank you. Bye. Who's this?
Wait a minute, who's this? You don't know who this is? What?
This is Jack Walsh.
You are. You're Slash.
Can I ask you something?
Oh, you don't have to ask me shit.
Don't push it, fucker.
Go ahead. I'm pushing it, asshole. I'm pushing the fucking buttons to see what
You sick son of a bitch.
all you do is talk for no fucking action behind a phone.
Now you shut your goddamn pie hole.
You have to shut my mouth. Come down here and I'll beat the shit out of you with a bat. What?
I'm not gonna tell you again. What?
Yeah, you heard me.
What?
What?
Can I ask you something?
I know who this is. It's the Funker. Oh shit, I know who this is.
No. I don't think that's any of your concern.
What?
Now say goodbye, you lying little piece of shit.
That's it. You know, while... Wait. Are you still hear me? Okay, good. While that was playing, I found the one where I pranked my ex-girlfriend. So I was only dating her for a couple of weeks at the time, and it got a little bit out of control. So if you want to hear this one, if you've never... It's a lot shorter, but I thought this one was even better.
All right, let's see if she is home.
Hello?
That was my
Hello,
voice.
cutie pie.
Who?
Hold on. Yeah, that's actually my voice. Let's see if she's home.
All right, let's see if she is home.
Hello?
Hello, cutie pie.
Who?
Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm a police officer.
Are you really?
I'm a cop, you idiot!
You're really funny.
What's the matter?
What's the matter? You're a loser.
Who are you?
Who are you?
John Kimball.
I've heard of her.
Yeah,
You really have a nice life, don't you?
trust me.
Trust you? Okay. You're a gangster now,
Stop whining!
huh? You go. You really are.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
Really? That's cool.
You son of a bitch!
Funny.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
My father's dead, you fucking jerk off, and if you fucking call my house again, I'll fucking find you and murder you, you fucking...
Stop it!
Go fuck yourself, you fucking loser.
Yeah. What's the matter?
What's the matter? I really would like to know who the fuck you are. But you know what? Not for nothing, it's okay, because I'll call the phone company in about 2 seconds and have your phone number.
I'm a cop, you idiot! Don't be ridiculous.
Excuse me?
Now, whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise.
Excuse me?
Who are you?
Yeah, speak English. You really, whoever you are, really needs to get a life. And
I'm a cop, you idiot!
you're a cop? That's nice. You can blow me. You're a fucking pig.
Do it now.
Yeah, okay.
You're a damaged goods lady.
Come to my fucking house. I'll blow you, you fucking sick motherfucker.
Fuck you.
Come on, come to my house. I'll fucking chop your fucking dick off and make you fucking eat it. And then I'll fucking shove it with your fucking asshole.
Shut up!
Ooh, tough guy. Why don't you fucking tell me your real fucking voice? Why don't you tell me your name, you fucking pussy?
What do you want?
What I want? I want you to get a fucking life, you pathetic piece of shit.
Ask your mommy.
Uh-huh. Wait till I find out who you are. Wait.
I'll call you back.
Now, keep in mind, this is like, what, 20 years ago? I would never do that now. I was an asshole at the time, man. Shit. 20 years ago. Big difference from now. But yeah. I was not a very good boyfriend. I never told her, by the way. I never told her. Because I was just pressing, when you look at the soundboard on the screen, you could see the phrases. So I hit the, who was your daddy and what does he do? I realized immediately, like, her father really did die. Died of cancer. So I knew as soon as I hit that button, I went into waters that I shouldn't have. Yeah. Oh, Big T, I wouldn't date anybody like that. Now, that's 20 plus years ago. Shit. Different time at that time. But, so now, let's just wrap up this Ivan story. I guess we needed a little bit of filler tonight. Let's finish the Ivan story with Nicole Bass. It's only like a minute or two left. Then we'll do the contest. And then we'll take calls. And then we'll wrap it up. I didn't realize. Oh, AS7607. She was hanging out online the whole time. Okay. So, Nicole Bass, I didn't know at the time that he kept calling her and she threatened to have a husband shoot him. That's how bad it got. I didn't forget you, SoFly. I got you right on the queue. I'll answer right after this. So, we had a 4th of July barbecue probably about 6 months later. And we were on the side, right across the street. If anybody does the Google Maps search and you look at her house, if you look right across the street, there's someone there with a gigantic yard. And every 4th of July, they would roast a pig. Now, I don't eat roast pig, but they would roast a pig. They would this whole thing. So all I remember from that 4th of July is we're hanging out across the street and everybody's eating, drinking, whatever. And Nicole Bass comes out. She walks across and she says hello to all of us. And I said, hey, did you ever do that interview with that guy, Ivan? And she's like, I'm going to fucking kill that guy. Who is that guy? And I'm like, he's a friend through the hotlines and stuff like that. She's like, he's your fucking friend? Don't fucking talk. And she just cursed the shit out of me. I'm like, no. I never met him before. We just do hotlines and stuff like that. She got so angry, and that's when she told me. She's like, I didn't want to do the interview. He played off that he was part of a magazine, and when I asked him what magazine it was, he told me it was just a hotline. He lied to me, and I don't deal with liars, this and that. I hung up on him, and he took my number off of caller ID, and he kept calling my house, and I was going to have, my husband shoot him. Wanted to kill him. So I'm like, Nicole, I'm so sorry. She's like, I'm going to fucking roast you instead of the pig. She got so pissed off. When she passed, that was rough, man. We went to a bar and had some drinks. There's a bar right in Glendale, right off of 80th Street, right near what name of bar? I don't remember the name of the bar. But we went to the bar, a whole bunch of friends from Middle Village. We all got together, and we just hung out at the bar, and we just talked Nicole Bass. And it was weird, man, because I tell you, that's why I don't like, now I don't care. We're friends and family here, so I reveal everything to all of you. But when I did my hotline at the time, no, not the hotline, when I did my podcast at the time, and I started mentioning a lot of the details about being friendly with her, there were a few people out there that were like, almost like trying to like compare their friend, like saying that they were friends with her and this and that. And I knew that they were not telling the truth because I knew her for fucking over 15 years. And it was just weird. Like sometimes you talk about being friends with someone and people like try to play competition games. So that's why I usually keep the shit off the shows. But Ivan got her so mad. She wanted a husband and fucking put a couple of you-know-whats in him. So, not really, but that's how angry he got her. And he was one of those that you would just call him back. So I ended up doing a soundboard on him, and he found out after, and he's still with us. Like I said, I guarantee you if he's heard the clip here, I mean, I haven't heard from him, but he probably got a nice laugh out of it. I can't say anything bad about the guy. He was just a pain in the ass. Yeah, Nick, I don't think you would have a Russo-Cornette confrontation here. And speaking of Russo, so Fly, any updates on doing some type of a sit-down chat with Vince Russo? He would also love to see me interview or just talk wrestling with Disco Inferno. Well, here's the thing. Since 1997, I don't do interviews. You know, Conan was different because of the drive. We talked, who was that porn star that was a big fan of the show? Really, really cool chick. I don't remember her name, but she was trying to get in TNA at the time. And she came on and chatted with us once, but I didn't consider that an interview. It was just chatting. I can't remember her name right now. Someone out there will remember her name. But other than that, I don't do interviews. That's why at the time when you had like in your head that show and other shows and people are trying to say, oh, that show gets more listeners than you. I'm like, yeah, because they got to bring Bischoff on. They got to Jasmine St. Clair. Someone don't remember. Trina Michaels. Thank you, Joe New. Trina Michaels. That's who it was. It was pretty interesting. I mean, I could say it now, but, you know, when Trina Michaels reached out and sent message like, oh, you know, big fan of the show, love what you do, this and that, and we decided to bring her on. I didn't know anything about her film career. So after we were done, like in the privacy of my own home, decided to do a little research. Like, let me see Trina Michaels' resume. Impressed. She was a legit wrestling fan. She was trying to get in TNA, and we really, you know, were hoping that she would. She was good, cool chick. I don't know much personal about her, but anyway, as far as Vince Russo, you know, I'm open to having some conversations in the future. You know, I always made it a running thing that since 1997, every single person who has ever tuned in to anything that I've ever done, they know they're tuning in for me and for my co-hosts, whoever they were over the years. People weren't tuning in because we would get a Bischoff on, or Steve Austin, or this wrestler, or this wrestler, or this wrestler, or this wrestler. You know, sure, if somebody gets, you know, a big wrestler for an interview, yeah, of course they're going to have big numbers, and they have a right to brag. So the fact that I've been able to stick around for 25 years and still be privileged to have all of you tuning in, you know, that's awesome. So if I'm going to start having some casual combos with some people, yeah, I'm breaking a streak that I don't want to break. But I always said if I'm going to break it, it's either going to be, you know, for Vince Russo or, you know, particular NXT champion. So who knows? Who knows? As far as Disco Inferno and talking stuff, I mean, I don't know how many people would really want to tune in for that. You know what it is? Like, what am I going to do? Have Disco Inferno on and say, hey, what do you think about those Republicans? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's got to be like a group chat and then conversation. You don't want to force topics just for the sake of discussing them. That's the mistake that a lot of podcasters do. You know, if you notice some podcasters out there, they pick their own topics, not necessarily what the people want to tune into. That's why I do the reverse always. I always see, you think I planned on getting into the stories that I did tonight? It's all your feedback and your conversation in the chat room and seeing where everything is going. And I just ride whatever you want to talk about. But I would love to talk with Disco Inferno about stuff. Hell, I want to still have that conversation with Kenny Bolin. I know he would do it. I want to bring Mick Foley on one time and have some really, really cool conversation. But not your typical, you know, hey, you know, if you look back on your career, would you do it all over again? And it's a, you know, no, I want it to be more about just regular real life convo. Wherever the topics lead, they lead, you know. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. James Pasco, yes, I do like Disco Inferno. Always been a fan. And believe me, since I used to love well, I still love Disco. I just don't listen to it like I used to. When he came out in WCW, Disco Fever, Disco, yeah. I liked it. His feud with Alex Wright, it was one of my underground favorites. Wasn't a big feud, and it wasn't an important feud. Alex Wright and Disco Inferno's feud, it's kind of like going to White Castle. Like, you go to a steakhouse and have some nice steak burgers, or you go to a diner and you get a chopped steak, or you go to the grocery store and you barbecue some burgers, and then you go to White Castle. Now, the White Castle meat might not be the greatest meat, and, might give you a little bit of gas, and it might not satisfy you all that much, but once in a while, you just enjoy the fuck out of it. That's what the Disco Inferno and Alex Wright feud was for me. It's like having a couple of White Castles. I think what happens, seriously, is over the years, people, because they want to be part of a conversation, they want to soak in the likes, that they'll just go along with whatever the topic is, whatever it is. And a good example of that is Glacier. Remember Glacier? WCW, the Mortal Kombat. I know people in wrestling have shitted all over that. So then fans followed, like Noah's Ark. Oh, that was one of the worst gimmicks ever. That was horrendous. Go back and watch it and pay attention to the crowd. Go check out the magazines at the time. Go check out the newsletters at the time. And you show me where people in droves were saying, this is horrible. This is horrendous. This is one of the worst fucking gimmicks that we've ever fucking seen. And nobody was doing that. I mean, it eventually started to suck. I'm not denying that. But when you see, these what culture morons and these others that do these lists and totally annihilate it, I'm like, man, your parents weren't even banging each other in the backseat of their car. They didn't even give birth to you yet. And you're going to tell me that Glacier at the time was getting shitted out of the building? The fuck out of here. It's not true. But the problem is, my voice is this, and all the whiners' voice is this. Who's going to win out? I never liked Mortal Kombat. I didn't even like the video game all that much. The only thing I remember the video game, finish him. I don't even think that's it. Isn't that Street Fighter or something? I never liked Mortal Kombat. When those movies came out, I never watched them. But the Glacier character was not, it was not shitted on at that time. It wasn't. It's just not true. I mean, obviously, it ended up failing. But, these people that, because you know why? Because everybody wants to be part of that conversation, man. Oh, finish him is Mortal Kombat. Finish him. Yeah. That's all I remember from it. Never liked it. So, but anyway, so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to having a convo with Disco Inferno. I mean with Vince Russo. It's just I want it to mean something. I don't want to just do it just to do it. I mean, by now, there's a few people that I could have interviewed. All you got to do is reach out to them and say, hey, would you come on for a little bit? Just some combo? Wouldn't even be second. No one would say no. But like I said, I have that streak, and I want it to mean something. I mean, I just don't want to be another person on the list that, this person interviewed. Oh, yeah, because, I need to hear for the 15th time. How did you meet? How did you do this? How did you do that? We already know all that. I don't want to do that, So, want to do this contest? Should we do the contest? Like I said, once again, in here is a Money in the Bank briefcase. You can kind of see it. Oh, kind of see it. Yep. Never opened. It has a combination lock. It also has keys. You can. It's a legit briefcase. It's not a, cheap knockoff. These go on eBay, $100, easy for that. Not only will you get that briefcase, but you'll get some goodies inside. One of the items also will be in that unopened. Whole bunch of trading cards inside a little briefcase. And there's guaranteed to have at least one autographed card in there. Hopefully you don't get Baron Corbin. I hope you don't get Baron Corbin. So that's in there too. You might get some DT grub. There might be a bobblehead in there. If I find a bootleg WWE bank, I will grab a bank if I can get it shipped quickly. I don't want to get something from Thailand or Ukraine where it takes 5 weeks to come. I'm very nervous about all these people in Ukraine selling this stuff. I think it's all fraud on eBay. But I will tell you, I ordered parts for my boombox, and I ordered it. It's from a seller in Ukraine. Now, if you go on eBay and you look at some items that you want to get that are very hard to find, for some reason, there's always somebody in Ukraine selling them. And I'm saying to myself, there's no way that Ukraine, for some reason, has a surplus of all this shit that I can't find anywhere else. But there was parts that I needed for my boombox. And every listing said Ukraine on it. So I said, all right, you know what? I got buyer protection on eBay. Let me buy it. Let me see what happens. 2 or 3 days ago, I got it. I open it up. I'm like, holy shit. It's in front of me, like knobs and sticker. I'm like, I haven't seen this available in the United States in about 5 years. And there's all these people in Ukraine. What did they do? How did Ukraine get all this stuff? So something tells me that I'll probably find Ukraine selling like all these WWE banks. So again, oh shit. I just realized I printed the Who Dat, and I think I forgot them inside. No big deal. I have email. I got to pull up my email because I saved it. Always keep backups. Always keep backups. Even when you record, always do backups. Always have a second outlet out there because if something fails, you don't want to be out in the cold. So let's do this. Let's put this on the screen. And I have, that's my advice for everybody out there. If you ever do a podcast or anything like that, always have 2 of everything. If you record, make sure you have a second program that does it. If you have notes, make sure you have a backup. This way, if something fails, you don't. Hold on. I know you just saw like a little bit of the things. It's okay. The names aren't on there anyway, so. All right, so let's do this contest. Ready? I'm going to give you hints for 2 people. Do not type the answer until you get the hints for both people. It's not cheat sheet. It's just facts. The names aren't on there. I have a picture as the answer. So I'm going to give you 2 people. They've been on TV over the last 2 months. You're not going to get this wrong. I'm going to read you the hints for the first person. And then when I read you the hints for the second person, when I say go, that's when you start typing the name. So I'm going to give you the hints for the first person. Do not answer the name yet. So here is the first person. The 2 people that I'm talking about, both their ages combined equal Ric Flair's current age of 72. So the 2 wrestlers that I'm talking about, if you add their ages together, it adds up to 72. So if one was 26 years old, the other one would be 46 years old. If one is 30, the other one is 42. All right. Hint number 1. Don't type it yet. I'm not related to Tony Storm. In fact, my wrestling name is a modified version of my real name. I am 32 years old, and I have been wrestling for about 13 years. I competed in TNA's British Boot Camp in 2014, but did not win. I am a multi-tag team champion, and in 2019, I was ranked number 18 amongst all women for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Now, the second person, I have over 30 titles in my career. I have been involved in 30 promotions, almost 30. TNA Impact is not one of them. Never brought this person in. I once appeared on Sunday Night Heat 15 years ago and wrestled against Victoria. Notable wrestlers I've defeated over the years: Dr. Britt Baker, Jordan Grace, Sue Young, Thunder Rosa, Deanna Perrazzo, Taya Valkyrie, Frankie Monet, Awesome Kong, Hikaru Shida, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, Jazz, Xia Li, Tessa Blanchard, and Eddie Kingston. So now, one last one. I just talked about one woman being ranked in the top 20 in Pro Wrestling Illustrated 2019. Well, that same year, this person was ranked in the top 10. So the two people that I'm talking about, one was ranked in the top 20. The other one was ranked in the top 10. Oh, and by the way, they're both women. Now, if people do not get it right, in a minute, I'm going to post a picture of one of them to make it a little easier. So when I say go now, you type both names, and the first person that gets it right gets the prize. So Fly, you are wrong. Go. All right, we got Serena Deeb, Kaylee Ray, Gail Kim. Not bad choices. Not bad choices. I like that this person faced Eddie Kingston once. Wrestled Eddie Kingston. Crazy Cruiserweight, you're wrong. James Pascoe is wrong. Stephen Cormier, only have one answer there. King of Waco. It's two women. Two women. Okay. Jack and Coke is definitely wrong. Kevon Lewis, no good. And I'm looking close, just in case, like steak and eggs or grits and shits somehow gets the name right. All right. We're just about ready to post a picture. All right. Cruiserweight, could you elaborate a little bit more? No. All right. All right. We got a winner. But before I mention who wins, I'm going to post photo proof of one of them. You look at this picture, I think you'll do a double take and you'll be like, do you know who that is? Do you know who that is? I showed it to someone earlier and they said, yeah, that's the redhead from TNA. Was it SoCal Val? No, that's not SoCal Val. Do you all know who that is? We got a winner, by the way, so we already got a winner. But I figured I'd use that photo as proof. So anyway, let's just reveal the winner. It is the freak, not Lars, but Crazy Cruiserweight. He got it right. The answers were, boom, Mercedes Martinez and Nikki Cross. And believe it or not, they actually had a match in NXT a couple of years ago. Yep, Crazy Cruiserweight got it right. That is Nikki Cross. Wow. Amazing with a little bit extra hair and a little bit of makeup. And would you have ever think that that's Nikki Cross? That is Nikki Cross. No joke. Impressed. But I'm impressed, Cruiserweight. I'm glad he got it. Because I know the shipping charges will be quick. Maybe I'll have somebody I know in Brooklyn just drop it off so I don't have to pay for shipping. Yeah, that is Nikki Cross, believe it or not. That's not from that long ago, too. So, by the way, obviously you can figure out when I said I am not related to Tony Storm, Nikki Cross's first character, her name was Nikki Storm. When I said that her wrestling name was a modified version of her real name, Nikki Cross's real name is Nicola Glenn Cross. So it is a modification of her real name. And the list of wrestlers, those are people that Mercedes Martinez has defeated over the years. Mercedes Martinez, well, if Nikki Cross is 32 years old, Mercedes Martinez is 40. Yep. That is the butterfly superhero. That is the butterfly superhero. So, yeah, we're going to start wrapping this up soon. I promise to take some calls. And all I ask, like I said, if you have something specific that you want to talk about, absolutely. I will put the phone lines up. Let's do this. Hang on. Okay. That's better. I didn't release the Do Not Disturb yet. So let's put the numbers up. I'm just trying to find the numbers. Got a lot of things open at the same time. There you go. Congrats, Cruiserweight. I know you know how to reach me. DM me on Patreon if you want. Just leave me the shipping address. I may wait a couple of days if I could get another goodie, to put in there. But I'll ship it out next week for you for sure. So congrats. So here's the deal. Like I said, call in, talk about whatever you want. Just have something, in particular. And let's keep, the calls tight. You know me, I don't like to cut anybody off, but sometimes, somebody calls in and you see 8 minutes go by. I mean, we really got to, I'd like to maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I know we didn't take calls earlier, but we were interacting with everyone in the chat, and everybody's been having a great time. So I am going to release the Do Not Disturb, and let's open the phone lines. There we go. 225-366-8669, and we already have someone calling in. Hey, good evening. What's going on?
Hey, DT.
Hey.
I'm calling from New York. So I had a quick question for you.
Absolutely.
So Christopher Nowinski, I was wondering, how do you feel about him going into the Hall of Fame, winning the Warrior Award? Because he was kind of the one who changed the wrestling business for the better after discovering CTE and Benoit's brain.
Honestly, I think it's an excellent choice. The only thing is, I'm just picturing this in WWE mindset. I don't know if WWE would do a vignette and a package talking about brain injuries and wrestling and things like that. So I think it's fabulous. I mean, he is without a doubt worthy of that award, and that would be an excellent choice. But, the way things are, like, I don't know how they would present him to the WWE Universe without people looking into brain injuries and what some tragedies over the years and concussions. I don't know how deep WWE would go with that. I mean, it's a great choice, and I like it very much. And, he should go in. I don't know if WWE would do that.
That's a really good point, and I actually do agree with you. I think they would probably want to, but like you said, that the bad PR and everything, in terms of, yeah. All right. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I won't take up any more of your time.
Great question. Yep. I mean, that's a fabulous question. He's without a doubt worthy. In fact, I think the regular Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, that should be a lock for him. And I don't know. He could very well already be in it for all I know. I don't know, but it would, maybe WWE could put him in like, how they do now, they put in like 20, 30 people, in advance. So maybe down the line they do it that way, but that's an excellent idea for the Warrior Award. I think the only way that would happen is if the net really started to get loud about this, and, then I think that would give him a better shot. But as far as coming out of nowhere and putting him in, I just can't picture on TV how they would bring that up. I just don't see it.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, I understand.
Thank you, my friend. Have a good night.
You too.
Take care. That's a fabulous question. Chris Nowinski for the Warrior Award. I think in any other company, that would be an excellent choice. I just don't know as far as WWE. Could you just imagine them doing the vignette and setting everything up? How do they even talk about that? Hey, good evening, West Coast. What's going on?
Hey, Don Tony. It's Steven. Steven.
Hey, Steven.
I called. Hey, how you doing?
All right, not bad, not bad.
Do you what's your opinions on Ringside News? Do you think that they usually post like bullshit stories and stuff like that?
Majority of it I hate. Majority of it I hate.
Because the reason why I'm asking it, and I know that you haven't talked about it, and I think you probably think it'd be bullshit too. But like the last couple things that I've been seeing online is the first one was Eva Marie. She was on WWE Alumni, and everybody was making a big deal about it, that she might be getting released and stuff like that. And the other thing that that's also like kind of had like some rumors like that you talked about. I think it was either on Monday or Tuesday. It was about Karrion Kross being on WWE main event. They were saying that I guess because like Scarlett was now she's like getting called up and being like up or something, like to do like some type of matches. They're saying that maybe WWE is trying to like break them up and like try to have her have a singles push and stuff like that.
Yeah, great questions, by the way. First off, as far as the Eva Marie thing, they just haven't updated the site. I mean, just the WWE's been a little bit lacking as far as updating their webpage. The one thing that Ringside News left out and all the other places left out is they never moved Eva Marie from the alumni section. That's what they left out. And as far as Karrion Kross goes, when does main event actually air? I mean, anyone in the chat room, do you know exactly when WWE releases main event for the public? There's like a 5-second delay, so we just got to wait a couple of seconds. I'm sure someone tuning in right now knows that answer. Before I say what I'm going to say, okay, Crazy Cruiserweight says Thursdays. What time Thursdays, Cruiserweight? I'm getting to the point. What time? We got Thursdays, which is today, by the way. I want to see somebody post the time, and then I'll give you the answer to it. Actually, we don't even need to wait for the time. We don't even need to wait for the time. Right. Here's the thing. WWE, with the network, with Peacock, and with their product, this first run, whether it's on the network only or if it's cable TV, Peacock, whatever it is, there's a first run of everything. And to make this as simple as possible, people were streaming the intro, just Karrion Kross walking down the ring from main event. And this was before WWE even had 24 hours to run their show. That's why WWE was pulling it. They weren't trying. I saw the article today. I saw the article where they said that WWE's trying to erase Karrion Kross's intro. That is so not true. They don't know how business runs. WWE, they have a right to have their product air first, let it run, and then you post that. But people were trying to post this stuff before main event was even released or available. I mean, obviously it had just come out because someone was able to cap the intro. But the point is, WWE has a right to have their product air first run, and then if people want to play a clip here and there, as long as it's not YouTube or there's WWE's, there's nothing controversial at that at all. That is just regular business. What Ringside News has a habit of doing is, you see today, that same garbage website was writing that a faction, WWE will soon break up a faction. And when you click on it, they're talking about Robert Stone brand. Now, yesterday, when I did this show, I said, if you look at the storyline, Frankie Monet is putting a wedge between Aaliyah and Jessie Camille and Robert Stone. Eventually, Robert Stone will be kicked to the curb and the three women will be together. That's not news. That's watching TV and understanding the storyline. Now today it's a news article. WWE soon will be breaking up a faction. They have no news sources that told them that. They watched NXT yesterday like you and I, and they're like, oh, they're breaking up the news. That's not news. These are garbage websites. I don't pay attention to them. That's why 99 out of 100 times fake news never gets on my shows. And I just find it hilarious to see podcasters who will tweet, oh, word around the campfire is this, or my sources tell me this, and all they're reading is tweets. No, I don't get news from tweets or, it's garbage.
That's what I was thinking, too, because like I said, I know that you usually, especially when it comes to carrying cross, because like you said that the guys mainly been around in the area, you would know stuff about that. Yeah. Like if they were gonna break them up, or if like he's gonna be in the main roster and stuff. It's like you said, they just see like these little things on like main event, and then they're just trying to assume that all of a sudden, they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that.
People are reading too far into that.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's why I usually just wait till you say something about like a story and stuff, because like there's a lot of wrestling websites that are like that, and it's like pretty much what you say is that. So it'd be like Ringside, the News. It could be like any one of them that are like junk, and they'll just like post a story, and then they'll all just like copy and paste from each other, and they'll just like upload instead of like not even like doing like research.
Yeah, it's mostly junk. And if I thought there was anything to the cross stuff, I could simply DM him and say, hey, bro, any truth to this? But there is, you know what I mean? Like, look, WWE at any point could break up any couple, could break up any manager with any group. They separated Lana and Rusev at the time. WWE could do that for any reason at any time. But right now, they just wanted the focus on main event to be on Karrion Kross. They didn't want a 3-minute intro with Scarlett singing walking down the aisle or anything like that. They wanted the focus in, out, beat Benjamin, 1, 2, 3, show what you got, done. That's all it is. There's nothing more to that.
Yeah, because they're like, she's like training like to compete or something like that, and they're saying that because of that maybe she's gonna be like going by herself or something like that.
She could down the line, but right now people are just guessing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So I appreciate that. I didn't really want to ask you because
it's a good question. You can ask anything. It's fine.
Yeah, I just figured that because you didn't bring it up that it is definitely like bullshit. But I just wanted to like ask you because like I said, just because sometimes it happens like throughout the week, like people like it's hard to like to keep up with like some of the stuff anyway. So
yeah,
I usually, like I said, I mainly listen to you, and like every once in a while, I know like some people like they bash like Dave Meltzer, but I mean I usually listen to him too, and I know if there's like some stuff that.
You notice
like
about
stuff that he says.
When you notice people in wrestling bashing Meltzer, they usually bring up stuff from years ago that he got wrong. If that's all you got, for the most part, they don't have much. When they keep bringing up stuff from 10, 20 years ago, I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. He is credible. He is one of the most credible.
And like another thing too that I noticed that people do with David Meltzer is that he was bringing up stuff about like Charlotte and stuff like that, and like talking about why she was out, and everybody was just like bashing him online and stuff, saying that he's just like body shaming like women and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, he says a couple of things that ruffle some feathers. I mean, he's not a saint, but and I disagree with some of his views, but overall, he is one of the most accurate people out there. But, well, I really appreciate those two questions. Great questions, because I know a lot of people had the Eva Marie and Karrion Kross stuff on their mind. So I thank you very much for calling in, my friend.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for taking the time to actually talk, man. I appreciate it. And I'll be on tomorrow. If you're doing calls, I'll ask you a couple things about like SmackDown and stuff. And I'll look forward to Saturday, too, when you do like the show, like the watch along and stuff. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Very cool. All right. Have a good night, Steve. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
I'm glad you brought those two up because I know that was on a lot of people's minds. Eva Marie and Karrion Kross with that stuff. It's fake news, everyone. It's the Eva Marie stuff. They never updated the site. Karrion Kross, WWE has a right to have their product be aired first run, let it go out there for 24 hours, and then you let people on Twitter want to play a clip here and there. Good evening. Who's this?
Hey, DT. It's AS7607. How you doing?
All right, good. How you doing? Happy birthday again.
Thank you so much.
Oh, what's going on?
I wanted to ask, I'm sure you've seen all the WWE Hall of Fame ceremonies. What would you say was your favorite Hall of Fame class? What was your favorite Hall of Fame class? And which Hall of Fame class did you think was like a bit lackluster?
Well, I mean, the second question is kind of a cop-out, but if I remember correctly, Andre the Giant was put in by himself, I think, the first year. Putting him aside, I will tell you my favorite Hall of Fame class, I know this might not be up there with a lot of people out there, but I think it was the class of 1995, only because it was a lot of people from my childhood, from Snooker and everybody else. I mean, it just really, it was not the greatest Hall of Fame ceremony, but as far as people that I really enjoyed over the years, it was also depressing because that year, 95, I think was the first slap in the face for me that, wrestlers from my childhood could no longer do it. My favorite Hall of Fame induction of all time is Bobby Heenan. It was just so sad that his voice was, impaired because of, the cancer that he had. But that's probably my favorite one. As far as a non-wrestler, Bob Uecker was hilarious because I've always enjoyed Bob Uecker outside of wrestling. And some of the jokes, I think if people revisited that Hall of Fame speech, I think people will laugh more now than they did at the time. Because at the time, I think a lot of people were more like, why is he going in the Hall of Fame? Like, I don't think people really cared all that much, but Bob Uecker was hilarious. Bobby Heenan is my favorite induction of all time. And class of 1995, as far as other years, I mean, they have done a pretty good job as far as, every year putting in people. I don't think I've ever had a year where it was just felt like, I mean, I know this is really kind of a cop-out, but, last year, them not doing the Hall of Fame and then doing it this year and, just rushing it through. You realize now they could have done the Hall of Fame ceremony at SummerSlam. They could have done it at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it would have made more sense. I mean, it just seems so lackluster watching it, both ceremonies. I know they were trying to rush it and everything, but it just seems so lackluster to me.
Yeah. This year's probably...
My favorite class... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, this year's I probably liked the least, only because, like you said, they rushed everybody's speeches. Not being in front of live fans, obviously, was a big deal also, but, it just felt like, all right, you putting 2 years together, back in the day, they did skip years. It's not the end of the world if they would have just skipped a year and everybody who they nominated last year, they just put them in this year and that's it. And then you go back to it next year. They just insisted on putting it in. And that's why, when you put it all together, it just felt a little bit wasted. I mean, look at Batista. They pulled his induction, because I want to do it in front of the WWE Universe. I mean, I believe part of that, but I also say to myself, like, oh, come on. The guy's not wrestling in the ring and this and that, and it means that much to him that he won't take a Hall of Fame induction without live fans there. I don't know. This year I was very disappointed.
Right.
Yeah.
My favorite class, for me, my favorite class was 2005. Because that was my era. That was like my era of wrestling. That era of Hogan and Piper and Orndorff and Sheik. I mean, if it wasn't for like Iron Sheik is right. When he's right, he's right. Without Iron Sheik, there's no Hulk Hogan.
It's
and
true.
He's 100% right. Volkov. Oh my God, Bob Orton. I mean, that class was like, that gave me such nostalgic vibes of me growing up as a kid. I've been a fan since I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
So that was so cool to see, and to see Hogan there and everybody else. That just was, for me, that like top, like of all the classes I've seen, that tops it for me.
That was the 20-year anniversary of 85. So 1985 when it, you know what, I know some people may consider this ridiculous. They would have put Cyndi Lauper in 2005. I think it would have been absolutely perfect. I don't think Lauper went in 2005.
Right. She hasn't even been in it, and it just I shake my head at that. Why hasn't Cyndi Lauper even gone in it? She should have been at least a part of that. She was a part of that era.
Yeah, they put Wendy Richter in, and for some reason Cyndi Lauper wasn't put in. I mean, they were obviously looking for the WrestleMania 1 theme in 2005. They would have put in Cyndi Lauper. I think it would have been perfect. But you know what, though? She didn't go in, but that is an awesome class, too. Absolutely. The only reason for me is I at the time, I thought maybe some of those wrestlers could still do a little bit here and there, you know, because it is 16 years ago, and we still heard rumors of Hogan doing something, that this person's doing something. It's just, you know, but now when you hear about Orndorff and, you know, we've had some people pass on, you know, Iron Sheik, thank God, is still with us. But, no, that's an awesome class, man. That's a great choice.
Yes, it really is.
It is. What was your least favorite? You know what? I actually know a lot of people that say that, you know, they really don't have like a bad one. They really never had a bad one, you know? This year might have been the most disappointing.
Yeah, I would agree. Maybe that one was the most disappointing. This year's was pretty much, I think the way it was rushed, and then the absence of a crowd.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. That's probably what it is. That's why it's my least favorite.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice to see them go on the stage during WrestleMania, but it just felt overshadowed. And then they had Bayley come out so she could have a little segment at WrestleMania. But, you know, I wish they would have just kept it for 1 year, or they should have waited till SummerSlam.
Right.
Yeah. But,
thank you so much.
No,
I'm
love
so
as
happy
always.
I got to talk. I've been listening to you since 2007, that far back. So since the Benoit episode, that's how long I've been listening to you. So I thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Have a great night. Have a great weekend, and happy birthday again.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Take care. Good evening. You're on. Who's this? Oh, I might have accidentally disconnected the call. So 225-366-8669 or 833-366-8686. Want to thank everybody again for hanging out tonight. There we go. Hey, you're on. Who's this?
Hey, DT, it's Crazy Cruiserweight.
Hey, Cruiserweight. Congrats for winning earlier.
Yes. So I want to make 2 points, and the first one is about the prize, actually. So I'm going, so DT, much love and everything, my first time winning. But I want to give the prize to someone else who's been through a lot of things in the past. All right, if that's fine with you. I would love to give this prize to AS7606.
All right.
If that is fine with you.
Okay. Well,
but here's the caveat.
Okay.
She has 24 hours from now. If the 24 hours pass and she doesn't email you or somehow contact you with her address and everything, the prize is coming back to me. So I'm giving her a little gauntlet challenge. You know,
she already, honestly, no bullshit. She already emailed me earlier tonight. I just haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Okay.
Because yesterday, remember yesterday I said, you know, I wanted to send her a little something for her birthday. So she emailed me earlier tonight. So, you know, I will tell you that, you know, I will definitely let you know, if she accepted it. So, you know, and I'll be honest with you, if she was taking me up on the offer for the birthday gift, that's even better because I'll just throw it in the briefcase, ship everything one shot. I don't have to pay double postage, but that's very cool of you. That's awesome. That's very nice of you.
If possible, could I just take a shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees if that's fine instead?
Yeah, of course.
I'll All right. And second point for tonight. So I don't know if you heard, but I need you to make a note of this because I might super chat you just in case you forget. So this Monday, Samoa Joe's going to be on Ryan Sam's podcast. I know Mish isn't very fond of him. I don't know your strong opinions on him. But he is going to discuss his release and how his return happened. So, so I think that... So
yeah, no, I know he's going to be on the out of character. I think it's going to be very good. I think he's going to be very careful how he talks about if he's going to wrestle again. I think I have a feeling he's going to say, we got that wait and see approach. I bet you we hear something like that. But I will tell you this: if you remember yesterday, I said WWE's got to be really careful about Samoa Joe because there's a lot of people now that think he's going to wrestle Adam Cole. They think he's going to wrestle Pete Dunne. They think he's going to wrestle Karrion Kross. Today, WWE on their website posted like top 10 moments for Samoa Joe or something like that. So it almost feels like they're trying to get people, get it out of their system about Samoa Joe. So they're reliving some of his better matches. And to me, that's maybe not a good sign that Samoa Joe is going to wrestle all those guys. The way I feel right now, if he's healthy and he could do it, I would love to see it. There's a part of me that's saying to me, I don't know if Samoa Joe is going to end up wrestling all of those guys. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe a segment, but I'm not sold on that yet.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Yeah. And before I forget, so yesterday I decided to do something. Well, I was listening to you on YouTube during the live stream. I just typed in NXT on the YouTube search. And do you know that you were the third video that popped up when you were live yesterday?
YouTube is weird, man. It's really strange because I have a lot of I always say that there's people that said they were going to help me and just absolutely nowhere to be found. But there's a lot of people that do email me and tell me, dude, you should do this, you should do this, do clips, do this, do that. But the one thing that people have really been focusing is this algorithm thing, and people are saying you got to get everybody to hit that like button, that affects an algorithm. And when people leave comments, the more you interact on the comments, the more they forward that. So I think from Monday and from Wednesday, I just think the interaction, the more there's interaction, the more YouTube recommends it to others. It's cool. It's pretty cool to see that. It's going to take time. I'm still new over here. I mean, there's a lot of people who have been on here for a decade. So I got a little bit of work to do still, but so far so good. I can't complain.
Yeah, because I've seen your stuff pop up. I've seen when I watch something New Japan related, I see like when I scroll down, your video, like the live stream you did, not even talking about New Japan would show up. Or if I watch some adjacent stuff, your stuff would pop up. Your stuff would pop up as well. If I watch MLW stuff, your stuff would always pop up as well. So, I'm just saying, it's kind of weird like that, but, it's whatever. Yeah. So, just chat room, I don't know if she's live in the chat room right now. I don't know if you can see her or not, but AS76, the prize I won tonight, I want you to have it. You just got 24 hours to just respond if you want it. You're going to get it.
I'll let everybody know tomorrow she claimed it.
All right.
I'm pretty certain she will because of, like I said, I reached out for her birthday. So I can almost guarantee she's going to say yes. And I will personally thank you tomorrow for her. And I will definitely let you know. I don't want to put her on the spot, But that's very generous of you, very kind. And I thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. And again, she's been through a lot in the past few months. Yeah. I think, with her birthday and just, something just generous enough.
Yeah. Very nice.
Goes a long way. I'll just take a T-shirt as always from you.
Yeah. DM me. Let me know what you want. I'll take care of it. You know that.
I know Patreon, and you know I'll keep you updated for something in July, not related to wrestling, but something more important. But I'll let you know. But anyway, DT, much love. Enjoying the show tonight. I still can't believe you forgot I live in Brooklyn, but
I forgot. It's weird. Some things I can remember clear as day, and other things I forget. Go figure.
Well, you should. Well, when you see the first 3 digits of my cell number.
No, I know. That's why. Like I said, I should. Yeah, I should. But I remember with the Lucky 13 and everything. I mean, I know. I just sometimes I get a little brain fart. So
it's fine. It's fine. But anyway, man, you have a good night. Much love.
Take care, my friend. I want to let everybody know something really quick. You're probably not aware of this. This goes out to everybody in my neck of the woods. Expect an announcement that WWE is returning to Madison Square Garden in September. Now, I don't know if it's, put it this way. I expect people to make some controversy because AEW is coming to Queens, New York. But the reason why I'm saying this is for some of you out there who didn't really want to get together for Queens because it's AEW and you just can't get into AEW under no circumstances. Now, if WWE comes back to the Garden in September, we might have a get-together in the Garden. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like traveling to Manhattan. I haven't liked traveling to Manhattan since I worked for Smith Barney in 88, excuse me. I'm not comfortable going to Manhattan right now with all this shit that's been going on the last couple of years. So I'm a little bit hesitant about going to WWE at the Garden. But I'm letting you all know because I don't even think it's a news story yet, but you should start hearing things. I don't have any exclusive. I mean, I'm sure that there's few others out there who have already given the 411 on this. But I heard August, which is what I said a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm here in September. But August or September, WWE is going to be back at the Garden. So some of you who want to go to the Garden, there you go. So, hey, you're on. Who's this?
There you go. Hey, Don Tony. How's it going?
Hey.
It's Steven. I don't know if you remember me.
Sure. I have a couple of Stevens that call in. Yeah, I talked to you before.
Yeah. I was waiting for your call. I was like, I hope Don Tony answers me. I hope he answers me.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
First of all, I just wanted to say I liked how you said yesterday in your recap of NXT, like you said, I hope AEW lets me in because if that motherfucker, they take me out, you're like, I laughed.
It's weird. I don't understand some of the climate out there. Obviously, from years ago, I really ruffled a lot of feathers the wrong way. I mean, I'm not saying this is a badge of honor. I'm not proud of this. At the time, I thought I was proud of it, but when I complain enough about TNA to the point where Bully Ray physically is calling me out and wanting me to go to Florida so he could confront me inside a ring physically. And I know it was just, show more than anything, but you'd be surprised how many people who were friends with him that went off on me, like piggybacked on it. So it was not fun. I don't take that as a badge of honor. And he had me blocked for years. I'm no longer blocked. I actually answered something that he wrote earlier about the top 5, the tag teams. Who do you think it's going to be? I responded to it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff I did and said back then, I don't regret it. I mean, I actually take pride that I've actually changed my views in a lot of ways over the years. So at least you see in real time, like, hey, he did grow up and he did change in this and that. And, it is what it is. But the way things are in 2021, I mean, you never know who gets just batshit pissed off at something simple. I got a couple of emails from people cursing me out because of the joke I made yesterday about Tegan Knox, about the 51%, that if it's Tegan Knox, then next week it might drop down to 22%, to 28% because we never get 100% Tegan Knox. I got 3 emails with people like, fuck you. Like she's gone through a lot of rehab and pain. I'm like, I just made a joke. Don't take it personal. I like Tegan Knox. But, yeah, people are very fickle these days.
I mean, that's the past, though.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't let it bother me.
Yeah.
The past is the past, and that's it. All I can control now is here going forward. That's what I try to stick to.
Yeah. I had some questions.
Sure.
I wanted to ask. So Saturday, Jungle Boy is taking on Kenny Omega. Do you think it's too early for Kenny Omega to drop the title this week? Or do you think it's too early for Jungle Boy to take the title?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Kenny Omega, if he starts dropping titles, let's put it this way. AEW is yet to have one of their main eventers go on a horrible losing streak. We have yet to have a storyline where AEW has had one of their biggest stars just lose match after match after match after match. What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? What's wrong? I mean, there's still a new promotion. But if Kenny Omega starts dropping all these belts, I just can't picture how AEW would handle that. Jungle Boy, it's too soon for him to be a heavyweight champion. I expect a lot of hot mess on Saturday. I think the over and under of people getting involved in that match is probably 6. So what this will do is it'll help Jungle Boy that much more. Kenny Omega will make him look like $1 million, no question. And Jungle Boy, he's on his way. He's not there yet. They're going to have a great match, and it's probably going to go longer than it should. And maybe the ending of the match is going to kind of suck with all the interference. But in the end, this is going to help Jungle Boy. So no titles change, but I think it'll just get another notch under his belt of, experience. That's how I look at it for Saturday.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that, Kenny Omega might drop the Impact title this year, probably, but
He's gotta.
I don't
He has
know.
to.
Yeah.
I mean, the ratings has not been good for Impact since he's been champion. We don't even know if it's been any effect on it. I mean, there's been some, but to still be in the 120s, that is just horrendous. We're out of this pandemic, for the most part. This Delta variant is something to be concerned about, but we're pretty much out of the worst of it. So Impact Wrestling has to now focus only on Impact Wrestling. I mean, they just did a storyline where Don Callis got fired, but yet he still is allowed to be at ringside and show up on Impact, and it just doesn't. I understand how they're trying to do the storyline that he's Omega's manager, so he has to be there, and he doesn't have to be there. You get fired, you get thrown out of the building. Too bad. Kenny Omega should have threatened to keep the belt hostage. If Don Callis is not there, they should have instilled that more than anything else. But I'm telling you, by the end of 2021, when we get to December of 2021, I will ask this question again. And the answer is going to be yes or no. And the question is, at the end of the year, will AEW still have a storyline interacting with Impact? And my prediction is the answer will be no. By December, AEW and Impact's relationship will be pretty much done.
Yeah.
They did what they had to do. Impact had a skeleton roster. A lot of smoke and mirrors, a lot of people getting a little bit too much TV time, that aren't ready yet. So they have to start breaking away and focus on making Impact more important. Because like I said, I never thought a comment I said a couple of weeks ago would stick with so many people. And I said, I think Impact Wrestling thought that everybody who was an AEW fan is an Impact Wrestling fan. Or everybody who is an Impact Wrestling fan is an AEW fan. And I had a lot of people who are Impact fans that said, I don't like AEW. They don't like the AEW involvement at all. So I think Impact Wrestling, misfired with that. But now it's too late. I mean, he's their champion, so they have to complete the storyline. So I'm hoping he drops it to Sami Callihan and they could start moving away from this.
I mean, they need the energy. They need fans back on Impact. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they will. They will. But they got to start breaking away from this storyline. It's hurting the Impact more than it's helping them.
Yeah. So my second question was do you think we see CM Punk come back to WWE this year? Not really. Or do you?
This year?
I
don't think so. Not this year. I personally thought NWA would have been a perfect scenario. If they could afford him for a couple of matches, when Mickie James made that remark, it's not just about a hashtag about women in wrestling, and the fact that her husband, Nick Aldis, is the champion, I could picture, because AJ Lee with that original hashtag, I could picture AJ Lee showing up and confronting Mickie James about that, and then right beside her is CM Punk, and CM Punk goes after Nick Aldis, and Mickie James goes after AJ Lee, 2-3 match deal, and out of there. I would have loved to have seen that, but I don't think CM Punk in the WWE will be this year. He's not needed right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not needed right now. You got to get, with COVID getting out of here and the return to live fans, they're doing all these super shows. So you got Reigns and you have the entire roster. CM Punk is not going to be the focal point. WWE is not going to put a lot of these bigger stars and push some of them aside so CM Punk could get a lot of the spotlight back. Especially after all that controversy. They will do business again, but not right now.
Yeah, well, I think he's probably thinking about it, or probably he's done with wrestling for the most part. Yeah.
I think he'll be back one day, but right now, right on the cusp of COVID, he's not needed right now. Maybe for WrestleMania next year, possibility. Be interesting to see him and Roman Reigns. I know it sounds a little weird, but I think if people start thinking about that, be interesting to see. But it's not happening anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, my friend.
It was Don Tony.
Yeah. Have a great night. Don't be a stranger, and we'll talk again.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks.
be well. Just, I don't want to put the do not disturb up. Sometimes you hear that sound effect, and sometimes you don't. It's because I got two numbers. And I think the toll-free number makes that little sound effect. I can't stop it. Once I start using this new software, then everything, I'm telling you, it's going to be so cool to be able to save calls and put names on them. So this way, it better identifies it. And then, little by little. Good evening, you're on. Who's this?
Hey, this is Dave from Sacramento.
Hey, Jay.
Long time. Haven't been on a live chat in forever. I just wanted to show some love. Dude, I've been listening to you since 2011.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. I had a few questions, but first I wanted to say I remember writing you in a few years back, and I wanted to give a big thanks because you said on your show when I wrote you one time personally on Facebook about my friend's dog passed, and their family had a GoFundMe, and you promoted it, and I thought that was a really cool thing to do. So I just really wanted to thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Yeah, I had two quick questions. One was in regards to Money in the Bank coming up. What do you feel is more likely to happen? WWE booking Drew McIntyre into a desperate role of like he constantly is getting closer to like getting another shot. Like he might win Money in the Bank and then they screw him over, and then like he goes into that type of role in the Royal Rumble, or they go the route of having someone like Jey Uso win Money in the Bank, and he and then like say Roman loses at SummerSlam, but then Jey cashes in, but he gives the briefcase to Roman.
Boy, that's a good question. Like, I don't know if either scenario will happen, but I will tell you, of the two, I love the Jey Uso idea. I love the idea of Jey Uso winning that briefcase. You know, Roman Reigns telling him, "Give it to me." It's for the, you know what I mean? Like it's for the family, you know. But the thing is, Roman Reigns, this is my only problem with it. If Roman Reigns is the champion, there's no reason for him to have the briefcase also. So,
like imagine if like he calls for Jey to interfere, and like let's just figuratively say it's going to be Cena Roman at SummerSlam. Let's say he calls for interference, but Jimmy comes out and he's like, "No, man!" Like he holds his brother back, like, "No, we're not doing it." But because of that costs him the belt.
Right.
But like you know how Paul Heyman always gives a spoiler.
Right.
Like I don't know if you watch Talking Smack, but like he gives a spoiler and says, "I promise." Like this is a spoiler. He doesn't say that Roman's going to win. He says he's going to walk out as champion.
Right.
So we could get a little happy moment of Cena winning for a quick moment, but then he still loses the belt.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just don't see WWE having Roman lose the belt right now, just with live fans just returning. I think they want to build up that momentum of the live fans really getting under Roman, under his skin. I think the idea of handing the briefcase over, I mean, I could possibly picture Roman insisting on the briefcase, you know, so, you know, Jey doesn't tease having it or something. But Drew McIntyre, the thing with Drew is I hate the fact that he's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Well, he hasn't won yet next week, and I think Randy Orton's going to win. But if Drew happens to win, though, I hate the idea that Drew would have the briefcase and Bobby Lashley is the champion. Because there's nothing in storyline, there's nothing on the contract that says you can't cash it in. You know,
right, it's a loophole.
Yeah, it's a loophole. And I don't think WWE is going to start doing loophole storylines because, you know, they just don't get that deep. So I think next week Randy Orton wins. Randy Orton goes on, and then Drew McIntyre maybe feuds with Jinder Mahal. Maybe he takes a little bit of time off. I think Drew McIntyre will be okay. I don't think they're going to keep teasing him going for a title right now.
Okay. My second question was a little off the radar from WWE. Are you at all interested in MLW's Battle Riot?
I'm starting to see more and more news about it. I mean, I'm definitely going to, you know, check everything out. You know, it's just whenever you see things being said about MLW or they're going through this, it's just going extremely slow. I will tell you that I've had a lot of people reach out to me, some who are tuning in right now, about going to the former ECW arena for MLW when they return. That is not out of the question because I really want to get out and enjoy some of these events. So, you know, if I go, I'm going to check it out. But I think MLW, I just heard that they're removing they inked that TV deal last year with the streaming service and they're now pulling out of it. So I don't even know what MLW's future is going to be with TV.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I just heard earlier today, the Battle Riot, that's like the Royal Rumble. They just sold out for that.
Yeah, well, they're going to do fine. It's going to be, the pay-per-view is going to be fine. But I think their TV service, they inked, whatever deal they inked about a year ago, I don't remember the name of the company, but I heard that they're pulling out of that. Now,
Was it Fight TV?
no, I think they may be going to Fight TV.
Okay.
They might be going to Fight TV. But look, if you and everybody wants, I'll be more than happy to get all the info, and I'll let you know tomorrow. I'll get all the details about it. But there's going to be some changes for MLW. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but
yeah,
once we get into July, I think you'll really start seeing MLW hit their groove, and I think that's when people really get on the radar. Like you said, they sold out, so fans are wanting it. That's going to be one of the promotions. I actually think that they're going to have more momentum than Ring of Honor for a while.
Well, they kind of did the revival for Lucha Underground.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty cool thing. But anyways, I just want I'm thankful you picked up. Wanted to give some love. Been a long time listener, and I'm still happy it's still going, man.
Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You have a good day.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, Rocky Red it just wrote it. They pulled out of, was it Dazn? D-A-Z-N? They call it Dazn. But they just pulled out of that deal. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm telling you, I think, seriously, 2 months from now, I think almost all of you out there are going to say that MLW has hit their stride a lot sooner than Ring of Honor has. Not a knock on Ring of Honor. Two totally different companies, run totally different. But MLW, I think, has just been on the pulse a little bit more. And I think they're going to end up having a little bit more momentum. The Zone. Okay, The Zone. Thank you, Harris. I'm not that familiar with that service, The Zone. Thank you. Good evening. You're on. Who's this?
Hi, Don Tony. I'm Kevin Milwaukee.
Hey,
a long-time fan of the show.
What's going on?
I just wanted to call and give you respect for the many years of excellent podcasts you've provided. You literally put your body on the line for your shows, unlike other podcasters. And you've had so many health scares and surgeries, and you keep on going, and you never take weeks off. It's quite impressive, man, and you deserve all the props, Don Tony.
I appreciate it, man. No BS, not trying to kiss ass or pander. Saying that, seeing everybody hanging out, having a great time, that keeps me going. It keeps me going. I mean, it feels good. It just really keeps me going. And, when you do it for this long, it's like riding a bike. So, it's a little bit easier, but I look forward to doing these. I mean, I can honestly say, sometimes physically you're tired, you don't feel great at this and that, but most times you could even ask Mish. I mean, before we go live, it's like your burst of energy. I still enjoy it. When I stop enjoying it, that's when I finish. And I came close a couple of times only because I think it just, you do the same thing over and over again. It does get a little bit tiresome. I needed to mix it up a little bit. That's why I needed to do the video part of it. And to be able to, do visuals and show things and, share some memories. It's a little bit more than what I used to be able to do. But, kind words like what you said is what keeps me going. So I'm here until further notice.
I remember several years ago when you had that nasal procedure, and you were right back on the air in like a week. Yeah. I was shocked. Yeah. I mean, it's very, very impressive. I appreciate it.
I mean, if I could do it, I'll do it, And if people keep tuning in and enjoying it, I'll keep doing it, I mean, I will be taking 2 weeks from today. I will be taking 4 days off, though. So I will be taking a little mini vacation for 4 or 5 days. But I appreciate the kind words, Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah, I turned 40 in 5.5 weeks, so I've seen a lot of eras of wrestling. And Milwaukee, Wisconsin is a virtual mecca of pro wrestling. It's a real true blue wrestling town with a storied history, and it's a great city. And one last thing I want to say before I go is,
sure,
man, people are too PC. And this pussification of America, as you call it, is just not going to work in the long run. There are people out there like me who are good people, but I'm going to do what I want in the pursuit of happiness in this world. And when my jokes are a little too cruel for some, yet they're still hilarious, I'm unapologetic, and that's where the disconnect with these hypocrites happen. And until a happy medium is reached, society's always going to underachieve, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a real shame, Don Tony.
Yeah, you know how when it's going to change, the more they eat within. You know, you hear more and more, you know, people like going after their own, and when you start eating within, I think that's when you start getting change. You know, it sucks. It sucks. I mean, I could tell you firsthand. I'll tell a really, really quick story. Really quick. My father was at the heart doctor about 2 weeks ago. And while he was there, you know, like they have like a case where they sell like a whole bunch of supplements and stuff like that. And they had like some vitamins and stuff that's good for like your heart and circulation and everything. So he had told somebody behind the counter, he told me about this after. He told me that he told someone behind the counter that he takes turmeric. And he made a remark like, yeah, you know, all the Asians recommend turmeric. And the woman behind the counter said, what does that mean? And my father said, you know, so like he was just like taken back, like because he made it sound like all Asians eat turmeric. You know, it comes off as race. I had to elaborate further and say that he shops in a supermarket that is all Asian and he gets, you know, certain products from there. And that's how he was introduced to turmeric. They gave him this bag with dark yellow stuff in it. And I remember some of it like falling on the table and he put it on his hands and his hands turned orange. But even a little remark like that, like immediately people think it's like you're being racist. So I told him, I said, you can't say nothing about anything. The best thing for you to do, keep your mouth shut, look the other way. You have people yelling about a cause. They're not interested in having a conversation with you. You're not going to win the argument. You're just going to get yourself in trouble. And he didn't mean anything by it, but that's how they treat it. So I agree with you. I mean, I don't like what's going on, and I've made a concerted effort to just enjoy myself and the people around me, and that is it. I stay away from the controversy.
Yeah, absolutely. Racism is one thing, but bias and actual discrimination, it's crazy.
Thing. It's crazy. I mean, the good thing is the majority of people out there aren't like that. It's just that the ones that are seem to be the loudest. And I think that a lot of people turn a blind eye out of fear. A lot of people are afraid to speak up because they don't want to get a mob after them. They don't want, you know, somebody to find out their job information and they start harassing the employer saying that, you know, you got this person here and this person, and then you lose your job and you lose this, you get labeled this or this, and your life is ruined. So I think a lot of people just turn a blind eye out of fear.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I wish you well, man. I mean, just keep doing what you're doing and, you know, just be careful, you know, of your surroundings because, you know, you want to take a stand and be yourself and, you know, never waver from that. But if you ever get put in a position where there's a group, I'm not saying physically, but even online, if there's a group and you sense that, you know, that group is just out to take you down, you know, it might be best to just, all right, you know, let me just focus on something else and get away from that. That's why I think I've been pretty lucky to not have any confrontation. I mean, you know, some haters not liking my shows, okay, that's fine. And that happens to anybody. But as far as my views, I honestly expected a shitload of confrontation, and thank God I haven't had it.
No, you got a lot of people that have your back, DT.
I appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you.
It's never been a worse time to be a comic extremist, let me tell you.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? I admire Kane.
Great night.
Yeah, you too, my friend. Take care. Good evening. You're on. Who's this?
Hey, it's Liz, Tom, Tony.
Hey, Liz. Good evening.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
Very good.
Hey, I got a couple things.
Absolutely.
The first is, what is your thoughts on the speculation that in the draft that Big E will go to Raw, still be a single, and will take on Bobby Lashley?
Well, I know we have all had this conversation over the last year or so that when the New Day hugged and they went their separate ways, we all said WWE's not going to, they're not going to resist. Eventually, the New Day will be reformed. This top 5 tag team thing, you know, people are a little bit concerned that the New Day may be ranked number 1. And if they're going to do that, they want the 3 band members back together. As far as Big E coming back to Raw, he will be a singles still, but they will definitely have 6-man tags. They will definitely have him teaming up with his New Day partners. But him taking on Lashley, very interesting because my immediate reaction is, okay, who's going to take this title off of Roman Reigns? Who is going to be a viable threat? The problem with Roman Reigns' run, in my opinion, is that everybody who he is feuded with, we pretty much felt that it's not even a threat to his belt. I think Big E is the one person that I think people really feel would be a threat to Roman Reigns' title. You move him to Raw, I just don't picture Lashley and Big E tearing it down. The only reason why I even think that rumor started floating around is because Kofi is taking on Lashley at Money in the Bank. Notice how that rumor didn't start until after they made the match with Kofi and Bobby Lashley. I think someone out there said, oh, they have Xavier Woods involved in this storyline. Kofi is taking on Lashley. So it only makes sense that Big E gets involved with it also. That's where I think where this came from. I just find it too coincidental that popped out as a rumor after the Kofi-Lashley match was made official. So I'm not sold on that yet. It would be very interesting. I just don't know if Lashley versus Big E is the match that everybody wants to see. I think people want to see Big E versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So
well, I know they had been trying to push for Roman doing The Rock, but that was like, Rock was saying not till 39 when they came to L.A.
Yeah. It's a year and a half, more than a year and a half from now. So
the other thing is there's a couple of wrestling shows out of England on YouTube that I watch, and one of them was talking about that they were hearing that the reason that Keith Lee hasn't been on TV is because there's a dispute about copyrighting his name. He tried to copyright it. It got denied because WWE is trying to copyright it again. And that sometimes they've kept wrestlers off when they've had a dispute over a copyright name. And they mentioned that Taya Valkyrie fought to keep her name, but they're like, nope, you're going to be Frankie Monet. So what do you think?
I think, in my opinion, I think whoever is saying that, I don't think there's any basis behind it. There could be the legit heat between Keith Lee and WWE about this. But the thing is, and I think most people will agree with me, is that this is how WWE does business. They've done that business. I remember the Dudleys more than anything else. That once they left WWE and they went to TNA, they had to be Brother Ray, and Brother Devon. They couldn't be, Bubba Ray. I mean, for decades, this is how WWE does business. Keith Lee, going into WWE, knows clearly that this is how WWE operates. So I think it's just people, and with good reason, I think they're trying to figure out why Keith Lee is off TV, and this is the direction they feel that it's going. And they could very well end up being right. But I will say, the only reason why I just don't buy that completely is because, Keith, it's expected. Keith Lee knows you go to WWE, and a lot of times they will trademark a name or want to own the name. And I think he knew this going into. I just don't feel that that's the case. I think from what I heard with some of the health stuff and other things, I think there's a lot more to it. They could be onto something, but
Yeah.
I'm not buying that completely. There's a lot more going on than just that. That could be part of it, could very well be, but I don't think that's the number one reason.
Oh, yeah, because I know that he did put out a couple tweets that are still cryptic, saying he's wanting to tell, but he can't, but I will. But, so like you said, there's a lot of them that are just like chomping like, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, but until we get a definitive answer, it's just like, maybe, maybe not, who knows?
Yeah. And I got news for you. If he finally goes out there and talks, whether he's released and says something or whatever, if it ends up he finally speaks and then the big argument is trademark fight over his name, I think people would be like, that's it? You know, like there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more.
Yeah, that could just be part of it.
Yeah. Could be part of it, but I don't think that's the big reason why. There's a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's good talking to you.
yeah,
I'll let you go.
same here. I think I'm going to start wrapping it up. It's about 1 a.m. over here, so I thank you for
That's
calling in.
out here.
Great way to finish tonight. Much love.
Let's talk to you too. Bye.
Take care. All right. I think very nice way to finish tonight. And I'm sorry for anybody out there that was unable to get in. Now, we'll do it again next week. We're not going anywhere. You know, I think next Thursday I may have to start taking the calls a little early because we ended up doing, over an hour on calls? So that was a lot of fun. Great questions. Everybody, great questions. A lot of topics that I know was on a lot of people's minds. And you notice whatever you want to talk about, I'm here. And we get into it. So that was pretty cool. Absolutely. That was great. That was great. Now, before we start getting out of here, let me just do a couple of things really quick. Do that. We do this. James Campbell. Did I find those on WWE Shop and eBay or just eBay? James, are you talking about what? About I don't want you to super chat this. I'm looking at the regular chat right now. But did I find those on WWE Shop or eBay? Are you, well, put it this, okay. I think he's talking about the briefcases. Honest truth about, no, I know what he's talking about. When I showed the briefcase before, that's what it was. Yeah, the briefcase. Yeah, and he said it now, the briefcases. No joke. About 2 years ago, I went on a little bit of a spending spree, and I bought a whole bunch of things that I thought people would enjoy. And, a couple of things were money in the bank briefcases. I have about half a dozen of these still, the Wyatt Gyms. I have the Christmas ones. I have autographed photos, magazines. I have stuff in my own private collection also. But the briefcases, I thought it would be pretty cool that if I wanted to give out a prize, my thought was always give the briefcase, but surprise someone by putting stuff inside the briefcase. I don't know if it was Joey Numbers or Mish. I don't remember which one. It might have been Joey Numbers. But a year or so ago, I think he needed a mixer. And what I did was, I think I put it inside one of these Money in the Bank briefcases. I don't remember if it was for him or for Mish. But as a cool surprise, I put the mixer inside the briefcase. And I sent it to him as a gift. So not only did he get the mixer, but he also got the Money in the Bank briefcase as well. So I picked up a whole bunch of things. And I have the gold briefcase, I have the blue one, and there's another color somewhere, but I picked up another two around Christmas time Around Christmas time, WWE has some deals. They're not the greatest deals, but, if you want to blow a couple of hundred and things, did you want to, like I had the puppets for a while. I gave them to someone when I first started doing the shows. The Bray Wyatt puppets were behind me. Now I have Christmas ornaments. I don't know if you could see them. There they are. Over here. Still got the Christmas ornaments. So I usually get it off of WWE's website. Now WWE's doing rewards. I don't know how good it is, but, if you shop on WWE and you start building rewards where you can maybe get some free stuff in the future, it's worth it. And with the contest, I do have people that will choose a WWE shirt, and I get it off a shop, and now I get rewards for it. So, no, I usually get it from WWE. I do buy things from eBay once in a while, but I really am careful as far as who I buy from. Very, very careful with that. Jay Carlos, my thoughts on the China documentary from Vice. It left a bad taste in his mouth. He wished they wouldn't have made that documentary. Look, I think Courtney saying earlier that he felt like they ripped the Band-Aid off the wound. And I said this on Monday. I wish that no one would have stepped up and made any deal with this guy, Anthony, to get footage and get, that's what it came down to. Vice, when you think about it at the end of the day, to me, it's like tabloid. It's like a tabloid that always says, put it this way, you see this Free Britney stuff? Now, I'm not a big Britney Spears fan. I feel bad about what's going on with her and her father. It sucks. But I see all this Free Britney stuff floating around. And earlier today, Us Magazine actually posted hashtag Free Britney. And somebody took screenshots of like 4 Us magazines from back in the day, and every single one of them was ripping the shit out of Britney Spears. And the person said, you didn't help Us Magazine. In fact, you kind of made it worse. One of the covers is like mocking her mental health. Like her mental health is getting out of control. So my point is, to me, Vice is no better than Us Magazine or a tabloid. No one was forced to watch it. No one was forced to cover it. I gave it a shot. I watched 1/3 of it, and I had enough. I talked to family members and friends of China over the last bunch of years. Most of what was talked about we already knew. Some of the things with Japan I didn't know. But the stuff that this guy Anthony did, my God, there's so much more that never even made TV because, this guy Anthony is not going to reveal some of the horrible shit that he did. Some of the family members, it almost feels like Anthony has them hostage. When you talk about the stuff with the ashes and everything, it was a documentary that didn't need to be made, but, at least Vince Russo and Mick Foley and others really stepped up to show how much they cared about her because they truly did. But, man, if you want to stop like shows like this, you can't give him attention. I honestly can't stand that was made. That guy Anthony should have rotted in jail and not be able to sell any footage for anything. And in the end, he was able to work out. No. I'm not interested in watching the rest of it. I read the recaps of some people, some reviews, some transcript. And I said, yeah, it's as fucked up as I expected it to be. That's why it took me a long time to even enjoy some of the Dark Side of the Rings. There's like a vendetta. Like I said, that Brawl for All was the one that really pissed me off because I understand Jim Cornette absolutely hates Vince Russo, but I'm watching it and it turned into let's shit on Vince Russo hour. And I was like, fuck this. And that was it. I turned it off. So some of the documentaries were good. The Brian Pillman one was pretty awesome. But overall though, some of these like this vice versa, definitely not a good one. And to me, they're no better than Us Magazine. So, but Jay Carlos, much love as always, my friend. Much love. With that said, everyone, I am going to jet out of here. So we still got 2 more days. Well, yeah, 2 more days. Now, tomorrow, I expect it to be a very fast show because it's just going to be a SmackDown recap. If any news breaks, we'll cover it, obviously. As far as the cause of death for Melissa Coates, I have no information. And it's none of my business to know what that information is unless it is offered. I'm not reaching out to some people who others have reached out for. And I know one person in particular, I think we all know who he is. He told someone, he's like, man, she's not even fucking buried yet. Leave me the fuck alone. So if I hear anything, I'll let you know. Tragic nonetheless. But I'll be back here tomorrow night. No, Lone Wolf for real, man. Tomorrow it's just going to be SmackDown recap and anything that breaks. There's no reason tomorrow. Saturday, I'm almost considering changing my mind about the watch along. Because if I do the watch along, then that means I got to do it for at least 2 hours. I don't know if AEW Dynamite on Saturday is worth that. I mean, Page versus Hobbs is just going to further the storyline with Brian Cage. Saturday's lineup is not strong. Statlander versus Ali. I mean, some of the matches that they announced, they're going back to Wednesday. They're going to put all their cards on Wednesday. I don't think Saturday is worthy of a 2.5 hour show. So I have not, made that official yet. I'll do it tomorrow. But the more I'm thinking about it, I think, seriously, tomorrow night, SmackDown recap and any news that breaks. And then Saturday, AEW recap after the show ends and anything that breaks. And there's no reason that either show needs to go over an hour or 90 minutes. I honestly don't think Dynamite should be, Saturday should be a 2.5 hour show for me. So I don't mind doing it with all of you. I mean, we have fun, obviously. I can't thank you all enough for hanging out all night long. And if you wouldn't mind, before you go, if you enjoyed the show, hit that like button. I would sincerely appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. If you know anyone out there that may enjoy the shows, let them know about it. And tell them to speak up. I'll be more than happy to shout them out or to thank you for recommending the show. Post your comments in the comment section. Anything we talked about tonight, if there's anything on your mind, you can ask a question too in the comment section. I mean, I know everybody leaves feedback, but if you have a question to ask, post it there. I'll be more than happy to answer it. As long as it's nothing that it requires extensive research. And, we'll definitely pick this conversation up. And Darren, I don't know if the Discord chat that I'm working on is going to be done by Saturday. I'm going to try. But, the thing is, the way the permissions are set up, Discord has to communicate with YouTube and vice versa. And I did that a week ago. And for some reason, when I look at the audit log, it accepts me and then it rejects me. Accepts me and rejects me. It's almost like a bad relationship. So I may have to reset the channel and set it up again. There are some videos online that give you a step-by-step process. I may have to do that. But I am working on it. So it may not happen this weekend, but by next week, that chat room will be going. And, a lot of you who are hanging out in the chat room tonight, you'll be able to hang out there and you have no worries. You don't have to worry about anybody talking shit to any of you. You could speak about anything. You don't have to worry about other people hijacking conversations or people trolling. There will be no trolling there. You don't have to worry about it. So this is the deal. And one last thing, Charlie Conway, anything on New Jack about what? As far as like a funeral, what I hear, maybe a celebration later on in the year. once this COVID is a little more out of here, they will have a celebration. New Jack, his private funeral family is done. It's over. But a lot of the wrestlers do want to have like either a tribute show or some type of get-together. And I would think it would probably happen in either Florida or Philly. I'm not sure anywhere else. Maybe Georgia. But, believe me, once word goes around about that, I will definitely let everyone know. And believe me, if I could possibly go, then I will be there too. So, look, I didn't put it back in my collection yet. Probably do it tomorrow, but I still got it here. It's perfect condition. And unlike a lot of them out there that have that piss yellow color in the plastic, this one is completely clear. No bending, no nothing. I get the whole entire set. Got very lucky getting that set a bunch of years ago. So, all right, everybody, I'm out of here. Take care. Have a great night. And as I've been doing for a little while now, I close out with this. Good night, everybody.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.